Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid.
Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid. And Alaina started over the Morbid recording because I tried to say, hi, weirdos, I'm Ash. And she was like, no.
I was like, no, you can't do that.
And I was like,
you can't vocal fry right off the bat.
You know, who says?
Me.
Who says?
And I'm in charge of the recording button.
Yeah, unfortunately. Honestly, probably fortunately for everybody else involved.
I feel like it's going well so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, hi, weirdos. So...
We're punchy.
We are. We're punchy. We're here for part 3 of the Hillside Stranglers.
Yeah.
This is a lot. I have way too much information, one might say, about these people. I have read 2.5 books about these people. I never get to read like a full book for leisure. I could not stop with this. So I was like, I need to know more. Someone else give me another version of these events. Like, come on, tell me all the things. Please. Because every time you read another book, you get like one little detail that you're like, oh, what's that about?
That wasn't in the other book.
You can go search it. It's so much fun. I love it so much.
Reading,
you know? It's just fun. But yeah, so I think we're going to be wrapping this whole thing up.
In a nice, neat little bow.
Who knows? We're not there yet. Might have a little offshoot of an episode that might come after this. I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. We're all here experimenting together, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out. But yeah, we are in part 3, and I don't think like there's really any business to take care of right now because no one's really going anywhere.
I think we should just get into it because I'm like...
It's going to be a long one. So
I'm not like excited. That's the wrong word to use, but like I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you're intrigued because there's a lot that happens here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just get into it because this is going to be long and I don't want you all to be like, wow, this is a 6-hour episode.
Yeah, no thanks.
And like 10 hours of it is just you guys talking. So here we are. So I think when we last left you in part 2, excuse me. We were talking, I know, I'm like, where are we? We were talking about the murder of Lauren Wagner.
Yes.
Lauren was the one that was literally followed to her home and then abducted at 9 p.m. right outside of her home.
Yeah, that one was really something. And then I felt so bad for the older woman who lived across the street.
Yes.
That was very sad.
Either Bella or Beulah, I think it might be Beulah, Stouffer was the name of the neighbor that lived across the street. She was like in her like late 50s, early 60s. She was very upset when Detective Grogan went to talk to her about it because she had seen the whole thing. But she was terrified because of her own experiences. She had like a full PTSD episode and was just paralyzed in fear. And I think that definitely, she comes back a little bit.
Okay.
But Lauren Wagner also was the one that happened to have burn marks on her hands. And it was because they were experimenting with electrocuting their victims, basically.
I just like,
Very crudely.
what?
Yeah.
And it was just like an idea that popped into Angelo's head just like in the moment.
They just like, they were like, you know what? We've gotten away with a lot. They did, you know, I mean, they literally gassed a victim.
That one was very, very rough.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these
Christina
are
Weckler
terrible.
was literally gassed to death. And not even to death because they ended up having to do more after that. But she was gassed after she was injected with cleaning fluid.
Like Windex.
So they were just trying things at this point.
Yeah.
And with Lauren Wagner, they had stripped off the rubber part of an electrical cord and taped it to the palms of her hands, and then they plugged in the other side, and they did it like over and over just to see if it would work.
Yeah, because didn't Kenny later say that it was like a very long ordeal?
Yeah, he said this one, I mean, I think the Christina Weckler one was the one that he was like, that was over an hour that we had her sitting with the gas on, which is wild to me.
Can't.
But yeah, they're torturing women now.
Right.
Like, they're not that they haven't really been before, but now they're doing it in different ways. So now, because they've been switching things up a little bit and they're trying to like, and they're also doing this to like throw off the investigators. They're playing a game here.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to see if they like kind of throw off their MO a little bit, that maybe they won't tie them to them, or it'll just mess up the investigation in some way. What they don't realize is that they are leaving a calling card at every single one. It's that 5-point restraint that they're seeing in every single person. The handcuffs on the wrists, their legs are, or their wrists, their ankles are always bound. And there's always ligature around the neck.
And it's interesting that it's like in a weird, crazy way, they did think of a lot of other things,
Yeah.
but it's like that one thing. And thank God they didn't think of it.
And I guess, who knows, maybe they did and they just didn't care.
Yeah, right.
Because I think they think they always do. They think they're
Invincible.
more clever than the police.
Oh, yeah.
They think that they're going to be able to throw them off just by switching up a little bit.
Right. And it's like, no.
It's like, no, that's not how it works. But now Kenny and Angelo are looking for different ways to go about this. Because it's, as they put later, they were just kind of like, you know, same old, according to them, which is horrific. So again, they know they want to kind of like fuck with the investigation. So now they're thinking of ways, instead of moving the MO around, they're going to move the location around.
Okay.
Because the focus of the investigation has been around mainly Angelo's home and places around his home, because they're kind of places that they know in Glendale and in that area. So they want to move the investigation to another place so that they're like, wait, is it them, or is this a copycat, or it's just going to throw a wrench in there? So their new plan is they're going to lure a sex worker from an agency this time, not from like going on the street and picking someone up.
And they had tried that once before, hadn't they?
They had tried it before, and they had had success with these things before.
Yeah.
But this time they're going to get a sex worker from an agency. They're going to lure her to a totally different place that is not Angelo's.
Okay.
And then they're going to act like it was a sting operation, use the badges, and then handcuff her, and then bring her back to Angelo's.
Okay.
So they're hoping that this will be traced back to, like, whatever call they make is going to be traced back to a place that has nothing to do with them. So it's just going to lead them on a wild goose chase.
It really is fucked that they thought of so many things.
It really is. So they just had to find the place. So they're like, where should we do this? Well, Kenny notices that there's an apartment on the ground floor of the building he's living in. Mm-hmm. These are like the Tamarind apartments, I think it's called. And this apartment is now for rent, but it's completely empty. Mm-hmm. And again, on the ground floor, he's on the 3rd floor. So he acts like he's interested in possibly renting it out or for showing or like telling one of his friends about it. So he gets somebody to, you know, bring him into the apartment to look at it. As he's leaving, he leaves the sliding glass door slightly open.
Oh.
Yeah, and unlocked. So December 13th, Kenny called Climax Outcall Services, which is the agency that he found in the paper. And he ordered a visit from a sex worker. He made the call from the Hollywood Public Library.
Okay.
Like a phone booth right outside there. He said his name was Mike Ryan, which is similar to the name of the officer who handled his failed LAPD application. The officer's name was Officer Mike Rhine.
Oh, wow.
And people, and he said people all the time, it's spelled Rhine.
Uh-huh.
He said people always think it's Ryan.
And I wonder if
So he said
Kenny thought so too.
Kenny probably, and 100% they all believe this was 100% a little like dink
Like, fuck
to
you.
him. And so he said when he called, hi, my name is Mike Ryan. I would like a blonde wearing black underwear to go to the Tamarind apartments. Mm-hmm. So the way that they did it was this guy leaves a phone number is apparently how this worked. And then they find a girl, the girl calls him and they arrange the whole thing.
Okay.
So he gives the phone number, girl calls back, and it's to the payphone, and she says, I'll be there in a half an hour, and her name is Donna. Now I've seen her as either 17 or 22, and I see it equally in every source. So I cannot find, unfortunately, I cannot find tons of information about her. It sucks, but it's so long ago, and I think because she was, you know, unfortunately probably living outside of like where her family was and stuff. I don't know if like a ton of people came forward to say a lot about her in life, which is
that's
sad.
Really sad.
Because I like dug. I was trying to find anything I could for her.
I mean, girl, you read 2.5 books.
Yeah, I tried. I tried looking for her. But she was either 17 years old or 22. Her name was Kimberly Diane Martin. She went by Donna especially during these calls. She had actually joined the Climax agency recently because she was so scared of the Hillside Stranglers. And she felt like it wasn't safe to do sex work on the street anymore. She thought the agency would be her safety net.
Oh, no.
Isn't that horrific?
Yes.
So when she arrived, Kenny spoke to her for a minute, but then, and they're like in the apartment. And I guess he had like lit a candle, and the apartment was furnished at this point because I think they were showing it and they had furnished it.
I'm happy that you said that because I was like, she just walked.
Your home should show off who you are. Now is the time to boldly write the newest chapter in your home story. And your main character? It's Ashley. Ashley has styles that balance timeless appeal and modern trends to bring your personal look home. Yes, these are well-crafted and affordable pieces with eye-catching design, but they're also built to stand up to real life. With features like stain-resistant performance fabric, options that are incredibly durable, easy to clean, and stain-resistant with machine-washable covers. Plus, Ashley provides fast, reliable, white-glove delivery right to your room of choice, so you can style your space without any stress. Ashley was nice enough to send us a bunch of new pieces for my pod lab at my house, and when I tell you they deliver it to your room of choice, unfortunately they did have to deliver to the attic, but they could not have been nicer about it. I got, or was gifted I should say, the Revion Lake sofa and love seat. It's in this like olive colored velvety fabric. It's so nice. I will say it is so freaking easy to clean because if you know me, you know that I have a white cat and a black cat and then a multicolored cat. The white cat loves to just roll all up on this furniture and leave his hair everywhere, but it's so so easy to vacuum. I also got the Mikie coffee table. So I have that, like I said, in my attic, but I'm ready to order another one for my living room because this coffee table is so beautiful. It has this like antique old money vibe to it. I absolutely love it. And then finally, I got 3 actually of the core stone end tables. They have little shelves in them so you can dress them up and, kind of like personalize them to your style. I highly, highly recommend all of the pieces that I got. And I just recommend Ashley in general. It was such an easy process to shop with them, and the delivery, all of that from start to finish. It was awesome. Visit your local Ashley store or head to ashley.com to find your style. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Walks into like this empty ass apartment.
Yeah. Well, this is even because like the electricity wasn't on.
Yeah.
So he just lit a couple of candles and she walked in and was like, okay. And so he kind of talked to her for a minute, and then Angelo jumps out of nowhere. And out of the dark with his badge, and then Kenny pulls out his, and they're like, it's a bust. So she's like, what the fuck? So this is when things, though, went really wrong for them. Now, remember, this is Kenny's idea, this whole, like, let's do it at a different place, and there's this apartment downstairs, and this will be so much fun. Let's make it fun. Well, Kenny doesn't do anything easy or smooth. And so they handcuffed her, and they're trying to drag her out into the hallway to take her outside. What? Because they're hoping that she will believe this ruse of, we're cops, you're a sex worker, we're busting you, we're bringing you in. And that she's just going to walk with them quietly, and people are going to think they're just arresting
But at this point,
street.
people know that the Hillside Stranglers do that.
Well, people, that wasn't like... They don't know the total details of this.
Assumed.
It was released that they believed they may be acting like police officers, but it was by no means like they will handcuff you and pretend to take you in.
It wasn't like for sure.
None of that was let out. So people don't know this. They would just think they were police officers. That's how they were able to continue this for so long.
Okay.
So they handcuffed her. They drag her out into the hallway, but she fell because she was fighting. And so she's falling. Her purse is like spewing out everywhere. The contents is going all over the hallway. And she's screaming for someone to help her. Yeah. Literally being like, help me, help me, help me.
And she's in an apartment complex.
She's just not feeling this. So they throw her back into the apartment because they're like, shit. And
which cops wouldn't do.
Exactly. And she fell and slammed her head on the floor. So now she's bleeding and handcuffed. She crawled into the hallway halfway out before they could get to her, trying to grab the contents of her purse that is all over the hallway. And once again, they have to struggle to get her in and then slam the door shut.
Oh, that's so terrifying because it's like she's almost away for a minute.
Yes. And meanwhile, neighbors all came out of their apartment buildings and are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they were like, what the hell is that? And they're all talking to each other out there. They're all like, someone call the police. What is going on? What just happened? Whose purse is this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like who's just screaming?
While this is going on, they are right on the other side of the door with their hand over her mouth. And they are telling her not to speak. Angelo took his keys and dug them into her back and told her it was a knife, and if she screamed, he would just stab her.
Oh my God.
So she stayed quiet. And they waited, and she just had to sit there and listen to these people be like, what's going on? Does somebody need help? What's happening? Oh. She just had to sit there and listen to them.
That's heartbreaking.
And finally things got quiet. Somebody was like, I don't know what's going on. And I guess this apartment building later, when they talk to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, like people are assholes. Like we hear a lot of domestic disturbances and like people kind of ignore it. This one just happened to be like really crazy.
Yeah, I've heard things in my apartment building before that I'm like,
it's like really unfortunate.
And you like tuck your head out and you're like,
yeah. And this was also in the 70s. So it's like even more like, don't ask, like just go back in your apartment.
Yeah, like not my business.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody went back in their apartment. Oh. And as soon as it was quiet, they took her out to the car, and they took her out the back way this time, which I'm like, why didn't you do that? I mean, I'm glad you're stupid, but what.
Yeah, right.
She was apologizing at this point and telling them that she was like, I'm sorry I yelled. I won't yell again. And then she told them, I have a child at home. Please don't kill me.
They didn't
She
care.
didn't have a child at home, but that was really smart of her to try.
Yeah.
They didn't care, though.
That's crazy. You would think at least that would speak to Kenny, who was his wife still pregnant, or excuse me, his girlfriend still pregnant at that point.
Yep.
You would think that would speak to you.
No.
I mean, I know Angelo's like all kinds of
Angelo
fucked up.
doesn't give a shit. He has like 18 kids and he doesn't care.
Wow.
Yeah, they just don't care. And they did the same thing with her that they did with the other ones. They brought her back to Angelo's. They duct taped her eyes and her hands. They duct taped her mouth. She was sexually assaulted and she was murdered. And while this was all happening, Kenny looked through her purse and found an Italian, like a gold Italian horn necklace, and stole it because he thought Kelley would like it. His girlfriend. Yep.
Hadn't she left him though? Because he punched her in the face. Is he just trying to get her back with
They're
that?
still trying to, like, it's on and off.
It's just messy.
It's so funny because she never wants to marry him.
Right.
But like he still is trying, and she's like, I literally don't want to marry you.
Yeah,
like,
she's
I don't
like, I
think
don't
you're
know
gonna be a
what to
good
tell
dad.
you.
Like, I don't understand. But so he's still trying, apparently.
Wow,
you know?
good for her though. Just being like,
she's
I'm
like,
having your
no.
kid, but like, fuck off.
But like, you need to go away.
Yeah, like, get your life together.
So Kimberly Diane Martin was found the next day. Now, some sources I found said she had burn marks on her palms as well, but the majority that I found said she didn't.
So maybe people get it mixed
And I couldn't
up.
get like the actual autopsy report or anything, so I don't think she had burns, but I mean, I can't say for sure.
It doesn't sound like they would have had a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they were really dragging this one out further.
No.
They had laid her nude and spread eagle on a steep hill off of Alvarado Street, and it was also very close to and within sight of City Hall.
Whoa.
And the papers were all thinking she had been purposely placed facing or pointing to City Hall just as some kind of like, fuck you.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Apparently, according to them, it was an accident, but they thought it was a great accident.
I kind of doubt. I feel like
they did it on purpose.
I think so.
Now, the night that she was abducted, the Climax Outcall Service got nervous when she didn't return or tell them she was returning, because that was the whole point of the agencies.
Yeah.
Was they looked out for you. So they called a social worker because they were like, something's off here. They called a social worker named Dr. Lois Lee. She actually founded this thing called CAT, which is California Association for Trollops. And it was a place where sex workers could go get legal advice or get counseling.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, sounds
That's
pretty
amazing.
cool. So Dr. Lois used the number Kenny had given the service to trace it back to the phone booth at the Hollywood Public Library, and then went to the address she saw given and saw that it was a vacant apartment. Mm-hmm. So she right away went to the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department and was like, something's wrong. Well, they told her it hasn't even been 24 hours. And then they basically told her, she's a sex worker anyways, so why would we care?
Wow.
Like, they literally told her, like, sure, you can come back, but, like, I'm going to be honest with you, we, like, don't give a shit.
That is...
Like, she's probably fine. Why are we even going to waste this?
It's crazy because we hear this all the time. Like, we either hear, like, oh, she's a sex worker, whatever,
Yeah.
or, like, oh, especially around this time period, oh, she's a runaway.
Yeah.
But it's never less shocking to hear.
It's always shocking.
Because it's like...
It's a person.
Thankfully, you and I don't, like, think that way. But, like you just said, it's a person. That's
That's
a
a
human
human.
being that is somebody's daughter.
And it's like, you're literally just saying, like, there is a whole ass human that is missing.
Right.
And it's weird, and there's all these weird things. They used a phone booth to call the agency. That's weird. It traced back to a vacant apartment. Some weird shit is going on. Oh, and there's that whole thing that there's multiple serial killers around
Right
the area
now.
right now. Do you think maybe you should give it like a second glance?
That's like, I
No?
love the analogy that you made one time where it's like, because back then the whole thing, it was like, oh, well, sex work is dangerous work. So what did you expect? But then I remember the time that you were like, race car driving is also like really dangerous.
Should we just not? So if a race car driver like gets in a crash, should we be like, oh, whatever? Let's not
Sorry.
help him. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
He knew what he was getting into.
It's like the same exact thing.
Like, no, it's like that's
Like obviously very different
But, like, it's
jobs,
a-
but it's the same precedent
it's
or
the same.
principle.
Like, why are we being so dismissive of one
And
as a
not the
human
other.
being?
Right.
Like, why does it make them less of a human being? I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Kenny even went so far as to continue to try to get a job with the police department again.
guy.
In the midst of this.
My guy.
In the midst of this.
It's not gonna happen.
No.
Stop trying to make your police dream happen.
Well,
It's not gonna happen.
You say that, though. December 16th, 3 days after the murder of Kimberly Diane Martin, he actually went on a fucking ride-along with some LAPD officers.
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, it's honestly...
I just took my glasses off because I didn't even want to see this anymore.
No, you don't even want to see it.
I just want to be blind for a minute. Hold on. That's...
He
are you
went
kidding me?
3 days after murdering someone. He went on a ride-along with LAPD officers.
It's so confusing because I'm like, Kenny, why do you want to be a police officer? Like, what's the reason? What is it that you want to do? Yeah, it's
Power and authority.
But for me,
That's
my
what he
brain
wants.
is like, being a police officer is to help people.
No,
like, I mean,
according to
obviously it
Kenny's
goes different ways.
He wanted power and authority, and to him, perfect way to get whoever I want to do whatever I want, and that's what he wanted.
That's not the vibe, though.
It's not supposed to be, but unfortunately, while he was on this ride along, he kept asking them. They testified to this later that he kept asking them to bring him to scenes of the Hillside Strangler bodies.
Yeah, like,
And
be more
luckily,
obvious.
Those officers were like, what? And some, like, I guess they tried to find a couple of them, but they were like, I don't know where they are. Like, I wasn't on that scene.
Yeah,
we're
like,
not all homicide detectives.
I'm
like, we
just
don't
trying to pull this guy over.
We don't
Can you
all
give me a
just
minute?
go to like homicide scenes all the time. So he was like, no, but like, how bold.
Yeah.
To be sitting there and be like, I want to see these.
But I feel like he like had these like weird things where he had to like say something.
Oh no, he loved this.
Well, because even the whole thing of like at work, he would be like, oh, could be
yeah.
me.
It wasn't even like he had to say something. No, he just loved this. He felt like a celebrity.
Right.
He just loved it. He wanted to be a star. And he was like, this is how I'm going to do it.
It's so weird to me. I'm like, but
So-
that's not for a good thing.
No, but
Don't you want to be famous for something good?
No, Kenny Bianchi is a fucking bridge troll. He doesn't want that.
I know. I just don't get it.
He wanted them to drive. First of all, he wanted to have
Relive
police
it.
officers drive him to his own scenes. That alone is going to get him like, woo!
Like rocks off.
And then when he gets there, he wants to sit there and watch everyone's reactions, and he wants to hear what everybody has to say and hear all the things. That would be exactly what he needs. He's disgusting.
It's so weird.
So Kenny, especially, like I said, is riding high on this anonymous celebrity status that he has. But they were also not super psyched with how the abduction and murder of Kimberly Martin had gone down, because it was pretty messy when you put it next to all the other ones. So now they're a little scared because they almost botched that one. Like, that was real close. And Angelo especially was pissed because he totally blamed Kenny.
Because
he
it was Kenny's
it was your
idea.
plan. That's why it went wrong. You're getting too bold. You're getting too high off this shit. Like, he was like, you like this too much. Like, it's just becoming something
Okay,
different.
Angelo.
Which I love that it's like Angelo's acting like he's so like superior here.
Right. It's
He's like, you know what? You're liking this too much. And it's like, you motherfucker.
It's like, why do you do it?
You experiment with torture on people.
You're like, what are you
kidding
doing
me?
this for?
You're trying to sit here and act like you're on a high horse? Get out of here. You're just as gross.
He's acting like he's like Dexter or something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
Like,
you gotta be doing this for the right reasons.
Just because you're
It's
an introvert doesn't make you any better.
No,
like,
it's
I
like,
don't
what?
understand. Well, either way, the police were talking to everyone in the apartment building now, because obviously people had called, things had been said. The agency had called and been like, something is going on here, so they had to check it out. And they also talked to everybody at the Hollywood Public Library. And they took fingerprints from the phone booth that Kenny had used. And they did get fingerprints, but they didn't have anything to compare it to.
right.
So now his fingerprints are on file, which is like, when you're reading it, you're like infuriated because you're like, they're right there.
Right.
Like, you have them. You just can't do anything with them, and that makes me so bad for you.
That does suck.
But they actually talked to Kenny when they came to the apartment building because he lived on the 3rd floor. That's how stupid he is.
Yeah, correct.
And he's like, his IQ is high, but his brain is low. I don't know.
Because he doesn't apply himself.
No,
like
he doesn't.
He doesn't take the time to
do something good
right.
with his brain, or to like just anything. He
make a
doesn't
plan
contribute
from
anything.
or like just like cover all bases on the plan.
He can't do it.
Which,
so,
like, I'm glad.
I'm glad he doesn't. But he was the only resident of the 3rd floor to say that he heard screams that night. Again, the dumb.
Right.
Like, just say, I didn't hear anything. I'm on the 3rd floor.
Right.
And everybody else on the third floor was like, I didn't hear anything.
Or like say you were grocery shopping at that time.
Well, they thought this was strange. They were like, that's weird that he's the only one.
Nobody else did.
But they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bye.
Okay.
So Kenny, meanwhile, was just getting more and more psyched about the media coverage. He could not stop reading about, excuse me. I just like punched my microphone. I was like, reading about it. He could not stop reading about it. He could not stop watching it on TV. He just wanted to talk about it all the time. He loved it. And he liked that people were terrified. He could feel the fear. He could feel it all around him. He could see the police officers staking out downtown on the strip. He could see it all. And he was like, this is what I want. This is power.
Right.
So after Kimberly Martin was murdered, police had a ton of undercover officers in Hollywood to like intermix with the sex workers there, like undercover.
Yeah.
And they were like women, men, like you would never be able to tell. They even had the cooperation of the sex workers and the people that were all working there, which is rare. And that like they were all working together.
Right.
They were going to try to keep it safe. They wanted to nab these guys. The fucking media leaked it. And it was blown.
Oh, that sucks.
Totally blown. And it could have worked.
And it's like, what's the point of leaking that? You just ruined
the media's
everything.
just dumb.
Yeah.
Like they, especially at this time, they just were, it's like that whole thing. If it bleeds, it leads. And it's like, so at this time Angelo and Kenny are starting to bicker. Mm-hmm. Their relationship is not, this whole buddy thing anymore. The threads of their like weird ass spontaneous relationship that was kind of like forced upon them were definitely unraveling at this point. Angelo especially, like the elder, is starting to get really annoyed with Kenny. And the last abduction and murder was the thing that just like really set it off for them. So he's like, this is careless and it's your fault. That's the end. So because that one was so messy, because they were getting on each other's nerves, and because they were really close to getting caught, they agreed that they needed to like chill for a minute. Mm-hmm. Because after all, November had been fucking chaos.
Yeah, it was like every 4 days.
Literally
sometimes
raining
less.
terror. Yeah, like raining terror. And in the interim, Kenny had gotten fired from his job because his boss found out that he was lying about having cancer. And so all the time he was taking off pretending to go to chemo was bullshit. He found it out and they were like, you're disgusting. Get out of here.
I wonder how they found that out.
So he lost his apartment. Eventually his Cadillac got repossessed.
Iconic.
And he started working at a nursing home.
No, get out. Get out of there.
That's the thing though. He wasn't gross or horrible at work.
Weird.
He kept it together at work.
Are you sure he wasn't
Everybody
like,
who worked with
pillows
him,
over people's faces?
no, everybody who worked with him said he was like great. They couldn't understand that was the same guy.
That's real weird.
Which is so
that'll
crazy that they can like dissociate like that. Like, whoa. He was falling into a real shitty rut at this point. Like everything's falling apart. Mm-hmm. And again, they may be adamant about taking a break because they don't want to like end this quite yet, but the world around them was still in terror, even though they were taking a break and they're kind of like just trying to like get away from it.
Well, because also other people are still dying and being killed by other serial killers.
But the Hillside Stranglers still in everybody's mind. Everybody's still like, okay, he's taking a little time away here, but like, when's he coming back? Like, no one knows.
And people know too that like serial killers do take breaks.
Exactly. And it's like, so serial killers take a break, but the fear of them doesn't. So like I said about Kimberly Martin, she had joined the Climax agency because she was so concerned about them. So sex workers were particularly taking extra precautions to make sure they didn't end up in the wrong car. Mm-hmm. And I found a newspaper article from December 20th of that year in 77, where they described the horror and fear that was gripping the area during this time. It's from the New York Times, and it described how sex workers would work in groups, and they would make sure to study faces of any potential client who picked any of them up. Whenever they felt safe enough to allow their friend to go with any man, they would write down the license plate altogether. Mm-hmm. And at this time, serial killer was not a term used. So the killer in this newspaper article was being referred to as a multiple murderer, which is so funny to see now. Like it feels like such a cumbersome phrase.
It does.
Like multiple murderer, you know, like
sometimes we love alliteration and sometimes we don't.
That's not one. I just found that interesting though. But sporting goods stores said there was a huge rush in like guns, knives,
mace.
Self-defense classes were being filled up. It was mayhem. And in the same New York Times article, a sex worker they interviewed who went by Cheryl said, quote, "We're all trying to have a good Christmas the same way anybody else is. The cops don't care about us. We've got to look after each other. A lot of us are taking license plate numbers." And someone who was near her during this conversation with the media said, "We have to come out here with straight razors to protect ourselves. We have to come out here with knives. Then we get busted for having them."
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that sucks.
Just very telling.
Now, Kenny and Angelo spent a lot of time apart during the next month or so. Kenny attempted to spend more time with Kelley, his pregnant girlfriend, and pretend to not be like a monster demon with her. There was also an extended period of time where it rained for a few days in California, like a lot of days. I think they had a drought at the time, so it was like a ton of rain came. So it didn't really present itself with an opportunity for them to do this again because the weather was kind of cooperating with the rest of the world. Now, a man named Ned York, who was an actor, actually confessed at this time. Yeah. In the beginning of February, he came out and said he was the Hillside Strangler.
Why
He was
people
a nut.
do that?
He was a nut. It was clear to Salerno and Grogan that he was making it up, and really he only would say what was released to the media, which was not a lot. And I talked about in part 2 how little they released to the media. He was also just really kind of like talking about his own sick, twisted fantasies, and they thought he was just wanting to do that, like just kind of spin his own fantasies with this.
Like, here's a cell for you, sir.
Yeah, and one main thing that told him he was not the guy was he was adamant that he used his own bare hands to strangle all of these
And
women.
they were like, well, we know that that's not the truth.
Yeah, and he told detailed stories about it.
What the fuck?
And of course, they hadn't released the 5-point ligature calling card to the press, so he thought he was telling the truth. They only released, they had only released that these women were strangled. They didn't say by a ligature. So during the interrogation with him, he tried to light his own crotch on fire with a cigarette. So they were like, "I don't think you're the guy."
No. And did they? Yeah.
They put it out by throwing cold soda on it.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Thank you. Because I was like, I
wanted
wanted to know what happened, but I also didn't want to ask.
One of the detectives threw a Coke on his crotch.
Iconic.
Yep.
What a moment.
What a moment. I can't imagine being there. I'd be like, what has the world become?
Like, what happens too when somebody does that? Like, it's like clear that like you're sick and you need help.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what happened with him. I didn't look further into New
I don't
York,
blame you.
But finally, the same month in February, Kenny made a stopover at Angelo's after a long time
Hey,
apart.
buddy, how you doing?
But he was basically there just to complain and like whine.
Kenny?
He had
Never.
lost his job, his car was repossessed, his pregnant girlfriend still wouldn't like marry him. She didn't even want to live with him at this point because remember he had punched her in the face.
Correct.
She still wasn't living with him again. She
Yeah.
was like, "No, we can spend some time together, but like we're not." And so he was living with her brother's friends.
And it's
so
clear that she was probably just like keeping him around to like hopefully be in her child's life.
she was
but-
basically trying to debate whether she should keep him around purely for the child.
Right.
That was it. He was a loser, like a huge loser.
Yes.
And Angelo was no better. He was doing the same old shit. He was sleeping with high school girls still.
Ew, stop
and his
that.
son's girlfriends, all the while the Hillside Strangler Task Force is starting to like a little bit close in.
Okay.
Not totally, but they're getting there.
They're working
And you know
on
what?
it.
They're doing the damn thing. It's not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
So he stops in on February 16th, and Angelo's like, "Hey, buddy, I know what'll cheer you up. Let's go out and find someone to murder. It's been a while."
Oh.
So the rain is cleared. It's been long enough of a break. So they go out driving in Angelo's car, because remember, they don't have the Cadillac anymore.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the day, literally at noon, middle of the day,
Stop
bright
that.
shining sun,
Stop.
they're driving through Burbank in Angelo's Excalibur car.
I don't even know what that is.
Fancy. That's when they spot a beautiful young blonde girl sitting at a bus stop. So they pull over and Kenny is driving. So Angelo just leans out of the window and says, "Hey, sweetie, you want to go to a party in Hollywood?"
Oh, God.
And she says, "No." So that Hash just showed me the Excalibur.
That's
See,
a nice ass car.
that's the other thing. You're going to take that car and act like you're being like that's literally don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. That's literally
Seriously,
it.
like what
they're
the
both
fuck?
the biggest idiots, and I'm glad they are.
I saw somebody driving a transformer, and he was the one that did that.
Like a souped up hearse. Like, it's like, what are you doing?
It's like, I don't even know how to describe this car.
So she says no when he says, do you want to go to a party in Hollywood?
Yeah, that's a very random question.
And he won't take no for an answer. He just keeps pushing. She is terrified. Like, he's getting scary. She's a young girl. She's just sitting at a fucking bus stop. And she's like, dude, no. And she keeps like shaking her head no. Like, just being like, no, like, please drive away. So finally he gets pissed and launches himself out of the car at her, grabs her by the arms, and tries to literally forcibly abduct her from the bus stop on
noon.
Riverside Drive in Burbank at noon.
Wow.
Luckily.
The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. Quince makes it easy to create a summer wardrobe that you'll love, with elevated essentials made from premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk, without the traditional retail markup. I love that! Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the pieces that you absolutely will reach for all summer long. I absolutely love their linen. I have so many pairs of their linen pants, which you can dress up or you can dress down in the summer. Like, say you're going to a nice dinner, you can pair it with like a silk shirt, a really cute necklace, some good, makeup and an updo. Or if you're just looking for a more casual look, you can do the linen pants with like a loose button-up shirt and you still look really chic, kind of like, I don't know, Diane Keaton vibes, I kind of think. Also, it's not just apparel. Quince also offers elevated essentials for your home, from bedding and bath to kitchen essentials and furniture. They have it all, honey. I am a big lover of Quince, and I really do think you will be too. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/morbid for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/morbid for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/morbid. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think, or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid.
An older woman pulled up behind them, jumped out of her car, and grabbed this girl. She did not know this girl.
Yeah.
She screamed at Kenny and Angelo, telling them to get the fuck away from her and leave her alone. She grabbed the girl away, telling her, like, I'll help you. You're going to be okay. And she was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm calling the police. And she was like, and then she's yelling for people around her, like, call the police. They dove into the car, but before they did, Angelo launched a threat directly at her for ruining their morning. Like, and he said something along the lines like, God will get you. Or something. And she's like, yeah, no, I think it's the other way around, buddy.
Yeah.
So they both thought that was the end of that. They were like pissed, annoyed. It was fucked up. They thought that was the end of the young girl and the woman who saved her.
No.
It wasn't. Her name was Jan Sims, the older woman. I don't know the name we never found out the name of the young girl.
Yeah.
She didn't even find out the name of the young girl. But Jan Sims was a teacher she made sure the girl was okay. She comforted her. She sat in her car with her for like an hour, like till she calmed down. She got her on the bus. She like took care of her. She's like, I didn't even know her name.
That's scary. I would literally become like agoraphobic after
I literally
that.
would never leave my house.
Right.
But so Jan Sims then went to the police and she described the car, which was very specific.
Yeah.
And the two men inside to the last minute detail.
Yes.
She even mentioned Kenny's acne scars on his neck. And remember, the neighbor who saw Lauren Wagner be abducted mentioned the same exact detail about Kenny, that he had acne scars on his neck. So this time,
she's a queen.
Now this time, so you're looking at this and you're going, oh my God, they're probably like, there they are. They're at it again, back at it.
Yep.
And they're probably like, whoa, thank you, Jan Sims. No. So the brain trust at the North Hollywood police station thought this was a crazy lady and just dismissed her. Bye.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So there's this violent, horrific rash of torture, serial killings of women in the area for months. And this officer dismissed this when there is a detail that matches with another witness.
But they it's like, did you
What?
forget? Question mark. Like,
She actually wouldn't let it go. She kept calling the police station
Good.
over the next week saying she knew that she saw the car parked on East Colorado Street, which is
Wow.
where Angelo lived.
wow.
She was like, I know I've driven by it before. That's a very specific car. I know it. Like, please go check it out. You'll
Yeah, like,
find
why
him
would
on
you
there.
not?
They ignored her and they even they literally were like, stop calling. Don't call here again.
Don't call the police? Who the
Yeah.
fuck am I going to call then?
So now
be
Kenny and
so
Angelo,
mad.
meanwhile, are fuming. Kenny decided to try to maintain some sense of control and power. He was like, I'm going to go to the lot where they towed my Cadillac and I'm going to demand that the manager give it back to me.
That's usually
Which
how
you're
that
like,
goes.
Yeah, that'll work.
For sure.
He also threatened to file a police report on this manager because he said he had some really expensive scuba gear in that car and it was gone. So they obviously stole it.
Yeah.
He never scuba dived. He never owned scuba gear. He just thought scuba gear made you cool. This is who we're dealing with.
It's such a random
This is who we're
thing.
dealing with here.
Like, not even just like I had a really expensive camera in there because
No.
I'm a photographer.
I had fucking scuba gear in there. And you stole it.
You know who's scuba certified? Me. And you know who's scuba certified gear you took? Mine.
Like,
what?
Like, what?
Hua?
Excuse me?
Hua, Kenny? Hua?
And just the fact that he never scuba dived. Like, were you trying to get free scuba gear? I don't even
You know
what
that
you were
he
trying to
must
do.
have just like saw it in a magazine or
He
like a
felt- he was like-
commercial.
He was
or,
like, you know what? Dudes that scuba are just the most.
Getting the ladies.
They're the most. I gotta be like them.
Very White Lotus.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I can't. Like, we're dealing with a guy who lies about having scuba gear just because he thinks it makes him like manly and cool.
Also, let's be real. He could never get scuba certified because it takes time.
It does, and he doesn't have the
want to
patience
apply
for that
the
shit.
time.
So add to that he's like,
What?
it's like I think we just need to add aggressively fraudulent scuba diver to his terrible traits.
Aggressively fraudulent scuba diver.
He's a rapist, a murderer, and a aggressively fraudulent scuba diver.
Correct.
That's what he is. Like, what a shit pile.
You can say a lot of things about me,
Yeah.
but you can't say I'm an aggressively fraudulent
No,
scuba
you
diver.
can't. You can't say that.
Wow.
Well, luckily the manager told him to go fuck himself, and he tucked his tail between his legs and went back to Angelo's to bitch and moan again. I don't know why he keeps going. I don't think Angelo is like one of those comforting places of warmth when you need it. Like, I wouldn't go. Who's going to Angelo's to be like, I need help? Can you make me feel better?
Kenny.
Like, Kenny keeps going back to him, and Angelo's like, I fucking hate you.
I wonder though, in like a weird way, if he like saw Kenny as like a father figure because he was young when his father died.
Oh, I think he definitely looked up to Kennedy.
Yeah.
And he thought I almost said Kenny. And he thought, because right when he moved in there, he saw he was getting the ladies.
Yeah.
He had a business.
I mean, he's driving around a fucking, what's that
He's
car
very
called?
clean. An Excalibur.
Yeah.
He's very clean. He's always dressed nice.
Yeah.
He's like got it going on right now. And it's like,
And
I think
they had sick, twisted fun together.
exactly. So I think he feels weirdly bonded with him, but whoa.
I also think that he knows that going to Angelo's house is going to lead to them hopefully
Oh,
going
for
out
sure.
together.
And right now, he's pissed.
Right, and he wants
needs to get that out. So he's hoping when he goes there, Angelo, instead of being like, yeah, let's talk about it, brother.
He'll be like,
he's going to be like, all right, shut the fuck up. Let's just go do this and get your anger out.
Yeah.
Because he knows that's how Kenny deals with things.
Right.
So when he gets there, Angelo happened to be talking to a young woman in his upholster shop. She introduced herself as Cindy Hudspeth. Cindy Hudspeth. She was 20 years old, and she had worked at a nearby restaurant that Angelo used to frequent. She had actually waited on him a few times, and he had given her his card from his shop because she had got a new car. So she said she needed new floor mats made for her new car, and she was like, Angelo's the guy. Like, gotta have him do it.
Right.
So Kenny walks in as they're talking, and Angelo introduces them. They chat for a bit, and then they excuse themselves for a minute, leaving Cindy in the shop and having Kenny come inside with them because he's like, oh, I just gotta get Kenny something. This is where they decided she was next.
Oh, no.
They...
That's also very messy.
This is so messy. So to them, she was a lamb who wandered right into the slaughter. They were like, this is perfect. She wandered right in here. It's just for us.
She wandered right in
here. We don't even have to leave.
To this business to get something done.
Yeah, and parked her orange Datsun right in front of our car. So an orange car, no matter what it is, you're like, that's distinct.
Yeah.
She was looking for a new job. So their plan was to have her come into Angelo's, where he would say he had a list of people looking to hire for part-time work.
Right.
And when she was in there, they would do it.
Right.
So it worked. She was very appreciative of his offer to give her some numbers for people looking to hire. And she thought since she had waited on him many times and chatted with him for so long that it was safe. Mm-hmm. He was a regular at that diner. Like, why wouldn't that be safe?
Right.
After all, they were in his shop that he owned. Like,
right.
You're not thinking that this is what? So you wouldn't think it would be a dangerous situation. So especially because while he was gathering the cord and bag and tape and supplies out back, Kenny chatted with her like an old friend. Like, got to know her. They laughed. They talked about things. Like, didn't matter. They did a coin toss, and she was the next victim.
Wow.
This time, they tied her to the bed because they were worried about any escape or issues, because now they were paranoid. They had gone through enough, unpredictability lately, and Kenny was the one to do the final strangling. So on the same day that they botched the abduction of the girl at the bus stop, they were able to find their next victim in Angelo's own shop. This was all the same day.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that.
Yep. And now remember, not only did she park her car in front of their shop, but she also had Angelo's business card.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason she's there. And she wasn't holding it. So
right.
it's somewhere.
It's probably in the Datsun.
He found it.
Which
in
also
the car.
is like a dazed and confused-esque car.
I know.
It's not the same thing, but they look similar.
So he found the business card in the Datsun, and he tore it up and threw it away so it wouldn't be connected.
God damn it.
Then they put her nude body in the trunk of her own new car. Kenny drove her car wearing medical gloves on, and Angelo followed in his Mustang.
Like, buddy, you still have hair.
Yeah. Now, before he drove off, Kenny grabbed a fake beard he had with him and threw it on just for kicks. And at first, when I read this, I was like, you're the dumbest. Like, what is wrong with you? It actually works in his favor later.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Now, they drove out to a place called Angelus Crest, where there were hills and a cliff, very scenic, where Kenny figured they could send her car over the side of the cliff with her inside. Yeah.
Wow.
And they did. And it stopped halfway down and got stuck. So as you can see, they're trying to make it more theatrical. They're trying to make a bigger splash here. Now they've used an entire car and shoved it down a cliff with a body inside of it.
It's a lot.
So they've done this horrific theatrical thing, which is also another risky thing that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. Again, I think I just said that, but I was just like,
a lot.
It's still a lot.
It's the most. So 1 week later, Kenny's son is born. So what do you think they named their son?
Kenny? Like Kenny Jr.?
You would think. No, they named his son Ryan. And yes, he used the name Mike Ryan when he lured Kimberly Martin to her violent death.
Right.
And he did make the connection, and he did think it was funny.
And then so that's why he named his kid Ryan?
Yeah, because remember, he used the name
Yeah.
Ryan because it was also the police officer that rejected his LAPD.
But that's like a fuck
application.
you. Like, why are you, like, usually you name your child after somebody to, like, honor them.
No, it's just him. That's how fucked he is.
Yeah, that's real
They
weird.
claimed it was after like a soap opera star, but he also said later that he made the connection between the two and he thought it was a funny connection, which is just fucked up.
Yeah, that's just, like,
like,
not
no,
funny.
that's-
Like, that's your whole ass child.
Like, that's your child who has that name forever. And Ryan is a great name.
Yeah,
So-
well, that's the thing. I like the name Ryan.
It's ridiculous. So by this time, Salerno and Grogan, the two detectives on the case, were basically like bosses on this case. Like they've taken everything over because the task force has grown to over 100 officers. Things are getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Information is not being transferred correctly. So Grogan and Salerno have kind of taken it upon themselves to just like take it over.
They're like, let's do this.
So unfortunately, because other officers at this point, they're just not, as we've seen, they're not doing it. It's not happening. So they would at least be the two that would always like meet together, discuss the case, move it forward. And they actually started like coming up with the idea that, you know what, we don't only have to keep information from the media, we kind of have to start holding information from the task force.
Right.
Because they're leaking it at times. Like it's getting leaked out. It's not
so
helping anyone.
fucked.
So they just kind of kept it within themselves and like a few other officers.
Like trusted
Yeah.
officers.
And unfortunately things were still leaking and some of it was just flat out wrong. Like they were just coming out with like lies at this point. Like one news station distributed a composite sketch of what they were calling The Fugitive, but it wasn't made by police. It was just a drawing. Didn't have anything to do with the descriptions, nothing, just a drawing of a man.
That's good.
So then the entire city is looking for that man who doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, it was detrimental. So February 17th, Cindy Hudspeth's roommate reported her missing. And the same day, her nude body was spotted in the trunk of the car. Oh. It was spotted on the cliff by a helicopter that was tasked with flying over the area normally, like every day, routinely, to look for fires because California. And like other
because California
and like other issues in the hills.
Yeah.
And cars tend to go over these hills sometimes, like accidents. So, it was actually just looking for cars and stuff. And they spotted the car and the body since the trunk had flown open.
Right.
Now, Frank Salerno was one on the scene, and he immediately knew it was the Stranglers because of that 5-point ligature. So he was like, here we go again. Oh, no. Because they had a break.
Yeah.
Now, her autopsy showed several wounds, but it was difficult to determine exactly, was it from being shoved off a cliff in a trunk, or was it from the ordeal she was going through when she was alive?
A mixture of both, obviously.
It really was. So a lot of like the lacerations and bruises, they were like, I'm pretty sure this is just from the car accident.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they wanted, because now everybody's questioning.
Right.
So Cindy Hudspeth was a hardworking, cautious, and very kind girl, according to everyone who knew her. She wanted to get out of LA. She thought it was like too chaotic and too crazy, especially with everything going on.
Right.
And she wanted to go to college somewhere else in California, like maybe, Sonoma or like somewhere else. The recent Strangler murders had her even more worried and even more ready to get out of the city. And she was doing everything she could to stay safe. She, took precautions. She worked days and some nights as a waitress at the Robin Hood Inn in Red Vest in Glendale. That's where she met Angelo.
That is so crazy that she was like trying to get her way out of there because she was so afraid of the Stranglers, and she knew a Strangler.
Yeah.
Like,
and she had known him all along.
Right.
Yeah. And she had no idea. Everyone she worked with loved her. They said she was like a delight to work with, and she was requested by customers all the time to be their waitress, which you always know you're a good waitress when you have people like, everybody knows that waitress that they go in and they're like, oh, can I have like Susie? Like
who was not that waitress?
her name rhymes with Bash.
Yeah, it certainly does. Not once did I get a
Not
request
once?
that wasn't my grandparents.
Wow.
Not once.
Wow.
I was a very shitty waitress. I'm a little too scatterbrained for that.
Yeah, it just wasn't your calling. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, at night, she was working at the Glendale Community College because she was an ambitious badass who worked 2 jobs to make sure she could buy that car and get herself the fuck out of LA.
Yas,
She
girl.
was doing it. She was also a dancer. She loved dance, had medals, trophies to prove it. She was actually planning to add to her busy schedule by giving dance lessons as well.
Wow.
She had like printed out business cards. She was like, this could be like a little side business.
Yeah.
But, and she just loved dance. And she was like, I just want to teach others to do it. And it'll be extra cash. Why not? She was ready to go, but the Hillside Strangler murders had scared her into waiting because she said she didn't want to have strangers coming over even for dance lessons. Mm-hmm. Because she was careful. This is what kills me. She had a lot of friends who loved her. She had a family who loved her. It just like makes me so angry. Like she did it. All these women did everything they were supposed to do. There was no avoiding it. Right. And that's what kills me. I'm like, there's just no avoiding this.
Like we can say all the things we want and you can take all the precautions you want, but sometimes bad things still happen.
Yeah. It's like it's
unfortunately like the way of the world.
It really sucks.
But you should still take all the precautions.
Of course. It's just when you hear of someone like really taking the extra steps, you're like, man.
Makes it worse.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh. Now, these idiots had made a mistake with this. Okay. When they had driven up the cliff, they had been spotted. A woman named Janice Ackers was on the Angeles Crest Road that evening and noticed 2 cars coming up really fast behind her. One was an orange-red colored car. And when she went to turn, he had sped up and flew past her on the right. And the other car did after him.
And why would you do that? Let's try to be a little innocuous here.
Kenny, of course. And Kenny had also stared at her as he drove by.
Wow.
Looked right into her face. Unfortunately, she reported that he had a full beard because he was wearing that fake one. Oh. Now, there was, of course, everybody's like, oh my God, we didn't hear that from the last one. Like the neighbor and all that. Nobody had reported a full beard. And like Grogan and Salerno were like, there's been time between murders. Like men grow facial hair.
You can shave it and grow it.
Yeah, you can look different.
Right.
But it still kind of threw a whole wrench into everything.
Well, and again, also, it's only been a month and it's like she said a full beard. So it is a little,
So it does throw things off. Now, among the thousands of tips and different professions offering their services to help solve these murders, you know, like psychiatrists, psychics, private detectives are all trying to like get in on the action. This is just really interesting, and I found it in the Darcy O'Brien book. One guy from Germany who was a private investigator wrote into the LAPD and said he would solve the crimes if they would just fly him out there. And they talked to him, but they were like humoring him a little bit. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to fly him out because like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, one day he just showed up. Just showed up at the LAPD department and he spoke only German. So they were like, we don't know what you're saying. But there was one officer who was German and he was like, oh, I can translate.
Oh, shit.
So he had the guy write down what he wanted to say. I shit you not. This dude wrote 2 Italians, brothers, aged about 35.
Why did he know that?
They sent him back to Germany and ignored him.
What?
Dude had it almost exactly right. 2 Italians, brothers, they're cousins.
And they
Italians.
had a very brother-like relationship.
They're around the age, like, honestly, 35 is like the perfect average between their age.
I wonder what made him think that. He just like was very good at profiling. He
probably went
obviously.
off of, the profiling.
But it's like even, I mean, think of all the information we know now, but he wasn't getting all of that. He was only getting what they were putting out there, which like we said, wasn't too much.
And honestly, most of the descriptions that they were putting out there, well, also were people thinking that they were Latin because they were saying they had dark hair. They were like, they appeared Latin to me. Like a lot of people pointed that out. They were wrong.
Yeah.
But I could see why like you could make that mistake if it's like chaos and dark and whatever.
Yeah.
But he was managed to be like, no,
Italian.
It's 2 Italians who are related.
Wow.
Like what?
That's crazy. I want to know more about that man's and why
I know. I
that.
looked it up, but I was like,
tell me why.
It's wild.
I mean, it's just some people like there's like a science behind it.
Oh yeah. Now, Kenny was kicked out of his roommate situation around this time.
Of course he was.
Because
at this point, I'm just like, yep.
You're like, yeah,
his scuba gear was in the way that wasn't actually existing.
They stole his scuba gear. He was a terrible roommate. He used their cars without asking. He would just like get in their car and drive away. They were like, you can't use that.
Had a motherfucking roommate that just took my car one day. You can catch these hands.
And he was just like, didn't care about anything. He brought high school girls over to watch porn.
Disgusting. What the
fuck?
So
they found a police badge in his shit. And since it was reported that the Stranglers were maybe posing as police officers, they were like, bye, you gotta go. So they told a neighbor about the badge, but they didn't tell the police, which I was like,
The 70s.
Everybody. Like, come on.
But
Now-
also, then you think about it and, like, it being in that position, you're like, so I'm just going to, like, call the police and tell them that I found this. And, like, a lot of people are calling the police and telling them
That's
things
true.
that they've heard.
I'm going to be honest, though. If they were saying, like, if in this
I would do it.
situation, if I found a police badge and they were reporting that the Hillside Stranglers, who looked like my roommate in most instances,
You'd
were
call the
using a
police.
police badge, and I knew he was not a police officer in any way, shape, or form, I would call him and be like, this is just a little
Hi.
weird. Just a little weird tidbit.
Yeah,
you do
for
what
sure.
you want. He's not living with me anymore, so it's cool.
And
but,
then
like,
you
I
know what
gotta-
they would say to you? Don't call back here.
Exactly.
Like they said to that other woman.
And you know what, though? I'd be like, okay.
I did my due
I
diligence.
did what I needed to do.
No, I know.
I let them know they can go fuck off if I end up being right.
I'm just devil's advocating.
But I'm just saying. So apparently the neighbor did tell police.
Good.
The neighbor was like, no, you
Had the wherewithal.
we should tell the police this. And Glendale police came to Kenny and asked him, like,
Why you got
do you
that?
own a police badge? And he goes, nope. And they were like,
Okay.
good day, sir.
See?
And they left.
Right, exactly. Of course they did.
Wow.
Of course they did.
He said no. And they said, okay.
Cool. Like, I'm going to take
Bye.
your word for it.
All right.
He probably could have been like, yeah, and they would have been like,
Like, I can't.
okay.
I literally can't. I
Yeah,
literally can't.
I'm done.
So one high school girl that Kenny was like constantly involved with and hanging out with, had told her mother that Kenny talked about the Hillside Stranglers all the time.
And her mom was like, why are you hanging out with
Well,
this
and her
man's?
mom was like, wait, how old is he? And that's when she got upset and she started talking to the police and saying, my daughter is like being like groomed by this man.
We loves a mama bear.
Yeah, like, fuck this. Because she was like, no. And she's like, she's told me he's very strange. And the mom was like, I'm sure he's one of the Stranglers. I know it. Like, you need to go check him out.
Mother's instinct.
She said she was like, go check him out. So they did. They did again. But when they did, they traced his address from his name, and it led to his old apartment address, the one where Christina Weckler lived.
Oh. And
They made
didn't put that
zero
together.
connection to this.
Stop.
Zero.
Stop.
They also didn't bat an eye that in his records there would be proof that he was questioned about Kimberly Martin's abduction and murder at the Tamarind Apartments.
No.
They barely talked to him. They were charmed with him. And when he said how impressed he was with LAPD officers and how he had applied and he always wanted to be a police officer and just they left.
Yeah, we love a brown noser.
Are you kidding me?
No.
The amount of connections that people are not making here is like, hello.
The amount of, not just people, the
police,
whole ass police.
the whole ass investigators. But Kenny now he's excited now. He's
Yeah, because
loving
he
it.
thinks that he can do whatever the fuck
Oh,
he
he's
wants because
invincible.
he can at this
So
moment.
he excitedly tells Angelo, he's like, I have managed to get the cops off my ass 3 times now.
And Angelo's like, that's not going to happen a fourth time.
Well, also Angelo's like, yeah, that's not cool because that means the police are on to you. That means
Right.
they have your name 3 times and have spoken to you 3 times. That means that something's weird here and people are starting to question you.
Right.
So Angelo got so pissed that he pulled a gun on Kenny
Oh, shit.
and told him that he was going to kill him.
I'm surprised he didn't.
So they spent some time apart.
Why, though?
They took a little time away from each other. And in 1970, so this was like, at the end of 1977. In 1978, Kelley moved with their son Ryan to Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, wow.
Because that's where she was from there. Her parents lived there. She gave Kenny notice, like she didn't just like up and leave.
Yeah.
But she was like,
Which honestly she
she's
could
like,
have
it's
after all she'd been
chaotic
through.
here. With all this going on, I don't want to be in here with like an infant. I want him in like a
Safe.
stable place. So Kenny was like supposedly devastated and complained to Angelo all the time. And Angelo was just like, dude, then go move there. Because
Right.
at this point, Angelo's like, cool, just
Get
get
the
out.
fuck out of here.
So he was like, no, like I have a life here. And he's like, your son is there. If you want to be with your son, you have to go fucking live in Washington. Like, stop complaining to me.
And Kenny's like, well, Angelo, let's talk about that statement.
Exactly. And that's and I think Kenny's like, I think you just want me out of here. And Angelo's like, yes,
I do.
Like, get the fuck out.
Also, imagine if he had gone to Washington and like stayed there. Like, what? He might not have gotten caught.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, get ready.
Let's talk.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
So
I'm ready.
finally, during this whole thing, he's like, yeah, like just go live with your son. That's what you want. Yeah, that's totally what I'm just trying to tell you to be a family man. That's what I want. And then he's like, all right, Kenny, you need to go to Washington because if you don't, I'm going to kill you. So those are your options. Stay here, get got, or go to Washington. So Kenny moved to Washington with Kelley and Ryan.
Bitch.
Yep. And I also just realized that their names are Kelley and Ryan, and it just made me think of the morning show, Kelley and Ryan. I don't know. It's just
funny.
like because I said them together for the first time.
I thought you were going to say it made you think of The Office, and I'm surprised that I thought of that and you didn't.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Wow.
I don't even watch that show.
I was just going to say, you don't even watch The Office.
No.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah. I like Kelley, though. I love Mindy Kaling.
Oh, I love her. I love The Office. But so, yeah, he moved to Washington with them. And he was like, you know what? This is going to be my new life. I'm going to be a family man. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make some money.
Just going to stop murdering people.
I'm going to stop. So at first he got a job at a hardware store as a security guard.
Aubuchon.
But soon he got a job at Whatcom County Sheriff's Reserves.
I don't want to see again.
Yeah.
I took my glasses off.
It's a lot. And he also was taking classes in policing and stuff. So he's really boning up here. So now he is being tasked with checking security systems in houses. And he was also stealing things from people's.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl. Or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply.
Houses now. And part of the thing that he had to do too was like make sure the security systems were working in vacation houses and like all that. Now, he was not happy with his life in Washington. It was not everything he thought it would be.
It was not as exciting as
it was in LA. He wanted to be causing some pain and chaos, and he wasn't be able to do that. And he also was like missing Angelo because it's weird.
He's got a weird attachment there.
He does. And he was cheating on Kelley, like having affairs. He was lying to her. He was just like weird and fucked up as he always was. And finally around Christmas, she was like, "Get out, you weirdo. Like, you got to get out of the house. You're weird." So he got...
That's it.
Like,
you're just weird.
Honestly, just get out. Like, there's a lot going on with you. So he got pissed, but he begged for another chance. Just give me one more chance.
I'd be like, what are we at? Where's the tally marks?
And she was like, fine, like, whatever. But like, dude, I can't anymore. Like, I have a newborn. Like, please just go away. And so, but he was pissed because he was like, this isn't working out. Like, Washington isn't working out. Washington is like fucking me over. And I'm pissed. So now he's like, I'm going to fuck up Washington. Like, I fucked up LA, ready to fuck up Washington. Because he's like, I'm bored, I'm angry, now I'm going to get some excitement.
I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm. So, and he also had this weird thing that he was like, Washington, like, took me from Angelo.
No.
Like, it took our bond away.
Angelo
And I'm like, Angelo would have, like, launched you into the sun. And Angelo's also... the equivalent of a clipped toenail. Like, he is so disgusting and worthless. what is
Like,
happening.
Angelo doesn't hate you because you live in Washington. Angelo hates you because he hates you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you moved to Washington because he hates you.
Washington has nothing to do
no.
with this.
No, he had a perfect environment for what he wanted to do. Because, again, like I said, he was in charge of security systems. And he's also in charge of checking on vacant vacation homes. Empty homes. So he has a place. So he decided he would lure women to an empty home and then rape and murder them. He was like, perfect, I'm going to do this myself. So,
and that's really going along too with Kimberly Martin's murder.
Yes.
Because that was his whole plan all along. So now it's almost like
now
it
it's
manifested
like
itself in a fucked up way.
He wants to show that plan was going to work.
Yeah, and it's almost like a fuck
fault.
you to Angelo.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. He's going to make it work by himself.
Right.
It was your fault. So on January 9th, 1979, he called someone he worked with at the hardware store before. Her name was Karen Mandic. And originally her roommate Diane answered the phone. So now he knows there's 2 women there. So he tells Karen he would pay them both $100. He's like, $100, can you come house sit this vacation home for the night? And he's like, the thing is, like, we're putting a security system, having it installed in the place, but it's not till tomorrow. So for one night, it's going to be like empty and kind of open. So he said, like, why don't you bring your roommate Diane? You guys stay for one night in this cool vacation house.
And
I'll pay you for it because you're taking your time and doing it.
That's like the best setup ever if it's real.
Exactly. And he was like, just bring your roommate. You'll be fine. So they were like, okay,
That's a no-brainer,
cool.
Usually.
Yeah, awesome. So he
won't
set
be
up the
anymore.
house, and he apparently he wanted it all to happen in the basement because he said that was like the best place for it. So he laid it out like Angelo used to. He, put the cord down there, everything. He met them outside the house and asked Karen to walk in with him to check the lights. And he told Diane, you stay out here, just make sure like the perimeter is fine. Like, I don't want to walk in there with no lights and have nobody out here.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, I'll just stay by the car. And inside, he brought Karen down to the basement and immediately attacked her. And he put the cord right around her throat. He did it so aggressively that he cut through her neck with the cord.
Oh my God.
He strangled her to death in the basement. He then went and got Diane, and as soon as she came in, he threw her down the stairs and strangled her to death as well.
Whoa.
He later admitted to raping them both, and he drove their bodies to in Karen's car to a cul-de-sac. And it was near a school, and he just left them in there.
Sorry to be gross, but when he admitted to raping them, was that post-mortem?
Nope, that's not like totally known. Because as we'll see later too during the trial and stuff, he condescends himself or contradicts himself. He is very convoluted with what he goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So he said he sexually assaulted them. I have no idea
But
if
it's
it was
like if
pre
he
or
killed her
post
that
or if
quickly.
he even did it.
Right.
So the next day during his shift checking a vacation home, he was arrested on charges of double homicide of Karen Mandic and Diane Wilder.
And how did they trace it to him?
Because Karen had told her boyfriend about the house sitting job. So it just traced right back to him.
Wow.
Because Diane had written down his name and number when he had called originally and she had answered.
Wow.
So Kenny working alone doesn't work.
Nope.
As we just found out.
Angela's the mastermind.
Because
Kenny wants to be the mastermind.
She told her boyfriend, hey, Kenny Bianchi from the hardware store has a job now as a security professional. He wants me to go to this exact address. He wants me to do this. And I'm going to do that.
And he called Diane earlier.
And here's
and
his
she
name
wrote
and number
his
on a
name
piece of
down.
paper.
It's so, it makes me so sad that, like, again, she took all the precautions of, like, I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
This person called me.
Yeah.
This is the address. Like,
Exactly.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
But there's Kenny, and when they searched his home, they found shit tons of stolen things. And they later found jewelry from the victims, particularly a turquoise ring that was stolen from Yolanda Washington, the first victim, and an Italian horn necklace stolen from Kimberly Martin.
Right.
So he also got larceny charged on there too.
Good.
And the police in Bellingham talked to the LAPD since he had a previous California address, and Salerno was the one to hear his name and say, that's the fucking guy. Like immediately, he was like, there he is. We've already talked to him 3 times.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, that's him.
He denied everything. for now. Now they talked to Kelley, the mother of his child, and she confirmed that the only friend Kenny really had in LA, or really ever, was Angelo Buono. So they looked into Angelo, and they saw that his address was at 703 East Colorado Street, and it was directly in the center of almost all of the scene locations.
Yep.
Now, Grogan got surveillance immediately on Angelo because they couldn't just arrest him. They have nothing.
Right.
But they also released Bianchi's photo to the media.
Oh, shit.
And Jan Sims, who had saved that girl from the bus stop and had gone in there and they were like, go away, crazy lady. She called again.
And was
and
like,
she's
remember
like, hey,
me,
fuckers,
bitches?
That's him. Like, that's him.
No, she said, I bet you thought you saw the last of me.
That's literally it. She was that meme.
Yeah, she was.
She was. And then David Woods, who had saved Becky Spears from a life of being like pimped out by Bianchi and
about
Buono.
that man.
Yes, from part 1, I think.
Yes.
He told the media about his experience freeing Becky Spears from Bianchi and Buono's clutches.
Oh, girl.
Then they got Sabra Hannon back from Phoenix, and they interviewed Becky and Sabra at the police station, and they told them fucking everything about Angelo and Kenny.
Motherfucking circle, bro.
So Grogan and Salerno's partner, Detective Pete Finnegan, talked to Angelo in his home, and he let nothing out. He was not going to admit anything. And he said, obviously, Bianchi was his cousin, but he was like, he's weird. I don't really like him. I don't know a lot of him.
Yeah, sure.
And they were like, okay. Now, in Washington, Bianchi was facing the death penalty because Washington had the death penalty.
Awesome.
If they got him on those 2 murders, they were going to be able to do it. So they were going to offer him a plea deal. They were like, if you talk about the Hillside Stranglings and Angelo, like, we can do something for you.
Yeah.
At this point, it wasn't totally laid out. It will be later.
Okay.
During a second interview with Angelo at his home, because they just kept showing up and being like, hey, Angelo, you want to talk?
Bet you thought you'd
And he
seen
was
the
like,
last
fuck,
of me.
literally. But this time, now it's like Grogan and Salerno doing it. At one point, I think it was during the second interview at his home, Grogan like lost his temper and literally had Angelo up by his collar and like screamed every little thing he did, everything they knew, like was like, you fucker, like, we're gonna get you. He like named every victim because he was like, I know that you did this to Lauren Wagner. I know you did this to Christina Weckler. I know you did this. Like, he laid out like, I know the gas. I know the this. I know the that. Like,
and Angelo wouldn't budge.
And they said, though, that he looked fucking terrified for the first and only time when that was happening. Was like,
it was just like an oh shit moment.
Yeah, he scared the shit out of that little rat.
I love that. That's like a in the little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when they like lose it. And Grogan said, obviously, he's like, you shouldn't lose your temper like that. It's not great. But he said it was also kind of calculated because he was like, I knew that was the moment. If I was going to lose it, that was the moment to do it. So he's like, it was calculated, but not calculated.
And in a line of work like that, I mean, you're bound to lose it a couple times in your career.
Especially with people like this.
Yeah, like little fucking...
Like, you know that he's...
spineless
like,
assholes.
It's all, like, Sabra Hannon and Becky Spears...
told them everything.
Teenage girls have just told them the horrific things that this man has done to them. Yeah, it would be hard. Especially as a father of a teenage daughter, which he was.
Right.
So they read him his rights to be arrested, and he said he was like, you know what? Because they were just like, we're going to take you in, like, to talk to you. If you're not going to talk to us out here, we'll take you in.
Yeah.
So they're reading him his rights, and he's like, no, I'll talk without a lawyer. Like, you don't have to bring me in. So they were like, all right. So he was like, all right, I went to the Tamarind Apartments where Kenny lived a couple of times, but he was like, I didn't do anything like that. And he kept saying that he was like, oh, he was living with that fat bitch.
Nice.
And it's like,
oh,
what?
The
and they were like,
one?
what? And they were like, his pregnant girlfriend? And he was like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, either way, like, you're a horror show, buddy. Like, I don't, like, either way.
Bruh, she's creating a human life.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And if she wasn't, like, you're a murderer.
Like, that's what?
Oh, that murdering asshole?
He's a horror show.
Right.
He also confirmed the Mike Ryan name connection. He denied having a badge himself, but said he did have handcuffs for different reasons, but he threw them away because they broke. And he said he can't swear to it, but Kenny may have had a badge. So now he's starting to throw him under the bus. They showed him photos of each victim, like every single one with the name.
Good.
And every time they would just he would just look at it and go, I saw her on TV. I saw her on TV. And he did say he thought Kenny could possibly be one of the Hillside murderers.
Because he knows that.
Yeah.
Like, what?
They also talked to Angelo's ex-wife, Candy, who he, like, Mary Catherine, who he had, like, brutalized during their marriage. And she said she fully believed he would kill anyone, even his own child, for going against him. She was like, oh, he has zero limits, like 100%. He could be it.
Yeah.
And she told them everything. She mentioned how, like, the cow patch dump site where Dolores and Sonia were put was a place he often took the family for picnics.
What the fuck?
Everything started coming out. They talked to Artie Ford, the actor, who he had, like, was a roommate with.
Yep.
Who said the story about the gas thing, how he wanted to leave the gas going so Candy would light a cigarette and blow up.
Right.
And that he didn't give a shit if his kids were in the house either. He also relayed, finally, the fact that Angelo said he raped his own stepdaughter and his sons.
It's terrible.
Now, meanwhile, in Washington, they're setting up an appointment with Dr. Donald T. Lund. He was the author of Murder and Madness, and he was also a professor at Stanford University. They want him to talk to Kenny.
Okay.
Because Kenny, now, remember, throughout his whole, like, scam-filled career, he's always wanted something in psychology. He wanted to be a psychologist. Yeah. He took
completed
a lot
some
of books
courses.
out. He would study himself.
Yeah.
He did a lot of reading on psychology. They found shit tons of books in his possession about psychology.
So bizarre to me.
So I think in his mind right then, he was like, I can get an insanity defense. I know
Right.
I know what to do. I
Right.
know what to look for. And he probably did. In fact, he did a pretty good job up until a point. So 2 days before this meeting is set, Kenny's watching television, because you could watch television in jail. And he saw a TV movie, Sybil, which is about multiple personality in a criminal case.
Yeah.
And he used this as inspiration.
Oh,
and he
shit.
decided he would play that he had multiple personality disorder to get the insanity defense. So soon, under hypnosis, he created a personality called Steve.
Stop.
Steve was the aggressive one. He was the one who murdered everybody. Steve was so mean. Steve wanted to get rid of Kenny. All of that. And at one point, when asked if he had ever harmed an animal, because they were trying to figure out, like, are you a bedwetter? Did you light fires? Did you harm animals?
Have you been dropped on your head?
He was outraged that they asked him that. He went on and on about his love for animals, how he hit a cat once in his car and he felt awful for weeks and he almost cried. He was like, oh my God, I can't imagine hurting an animal. Like, I love animals. How dare you ask me that? Then they looked in his file and they saw that once he had killed a cat and left it on his neighbor's front porch as a Halloween prank.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So that was wrong.
Oh, I hate that
Now,
so much.
as Steve, remember, he gave them everything. He admitted to everything as Steve. He said he gave details, everything, but they couldn't arrest him. They couldn't arrest, they couldn't arrest Angelo. Because as Steve, Kenny's like, yeah, we did all this. Angelo did this with me. Angelo did this. I did this. Angelo did this. I did this. They already have Kenny, obviously.
Yeah.
They can't arrest Angelo because this is another personality that is telling a story.
Right.
There's no proof. Like,
Right.
so he's literally sitting there being like, Angelo did this, and they can't do anything about it.
Shit.
Which is like so they need the proof. They need something that they can hold, that they can get him on. Because they also didn't want to jump at this and fuck up the whole trial. So they had to get something concrete.
Good. I'm glad that they didn't.
Yeah. So they started talking to that neighbor, Beulah Stouffer. I think it's Beulah or Bella. I don't know which one. I'm going to say both. Across the street from Lauren Wagner's home again. And she was able to pick not only Kenny, but Angelo out of a photo lineup as the two men she saw that night.
That'll do it.
Now, another expert was brought in to look at Kenny for this multiple personality thing. His name was Dr. Ralph Allison. He was like an expert in that field. He did a couple of interviews and tests on Bianchi, and he concluded that he was legally insane.
Wow.
So, because he did all of these interviews with him as Steve. He put him under hypnosis. You know, he was like, no, he's claiming he had a childhood friend and that's what Steve was. And now he's evolved into this terrible thing. But he initially was that, like, there's so much in the two books I read that I'll link that you need to read because it's fascinating. But it's basically like the way they looked at it, if it was real or not, is like you would have this childhood imaginary friend that was born out of trauma, and it was there to protect you, and it appeared when you needed it to.
Yeah, mine was Luke Skywalker.
Exactly.
Literally.
But then when you have multiple personality disorder, that imaginary friend will transfer into a hostile entity that wants to do bad things and wants to take you over.
Whoa.
And Bianchi knew this because he's read all his psychology books. He knows what this is.
I've actually never heard
how
of
this
that.
works. So he's read that. So he was able to do what needed to be done to make it seem like he was really a perfect case.
Yeah.
So
I also
Steve
need to
was
point
his
out.
thing.
I need to point out that yours was Naughty Martha.
Mine
know
was
that.
Naughty Martha, my imaginary friend. She never turned hostile, though. She always just helped me.
Luke
and
Skywalker
and
never
mine
turned
wasn't born
hostile.
out of trauma. It was literally like I was doing bad shit, and I needed to blame it on someone,
Yeah.
so I blamed it on Naughty Martha.
I just love that. Naughty Martha.
Like, just Naughty Martha.
That's iconic.
Yeah. So this whole insanity thing was bullshit. He was faking. It was very clear, but he was fooling the experts.
Yeah.
And he also was sending Kelley letters and recording himself literally talking in baby talk to his son Ryan. And he was saying how he like didn't want his son to not know who he was. So he was pulling like people didn't know, like, I still don't know what he is, because he's like
Wild.
has these weird facets of himself that he like latches onto, and they're not real, but he really wants them to be real. Like, he really wants to be this like doting dad.
Yeah.
So he's pretending to be from prison. It's just really bizarre.
I think he's just sick and like
he is.
twisted.
There's a lot going on. So
But I don't think he has multiple personality disorder.
Well, don't worry, he didn't. So Salerno got a hold of the videotapes of him under hypnosis as Steve. Like, they sent them to the LAPD so they could see what they were working with, because they're also allowed to send their experts because they think they're
working
part
on
of
the
this
same case.
investigation.
Can I interrupt you for
Yeah.
just a quick second? If he's under what's it called? Sorry, I just lost hypnosis. I
Yeah.
just lost my train of thought. How does he know to be Steve?
Because, that was the other part of it. So because he's read so much about this, he knows how to, he knows that there's something where it's like, if you don't want to be hypnotized, you're not going to be hypnotized.
Oh, okay.
So when he was getting ready to go under hypnosis, he just wouldn't. He would
Okay.
just block it out.
Okay.
Because if you don't want to be hypnotized, you can block yourself from being hypnotized.
Gotcha.
You have to be in like a state of mind to accept it.
Okay.
So he would just block it and pretend to be hypnotized, which they catch him in later.
Gotcha.
So
Thank you.
Salerno, no problem. But Salerno got a hold of these tapes of the hypnosis and everything. And they were all like, he's bullshitting. Like, this is
Right.
very clearly bullshit. And in one of the sessions, Dr. Allison asked about the other personality, Steve's last name. She was like, what's your last name? And he like mumbled something no one could hear, so they just didn't press it further. Well, Salerno kept playing it because he was like, he said
means
something. And then he was like, so he kept playing it. And then he was like, what do you guys hear? Because I hear something. And they were all listening to it, and they were like, Walker. I hear Walker. Well, this was traced back to a scam Bianchi had pulled. He had set up a fake psychology office before leaving LA, and he had tried to get someone who was actually educated in psychology to work for him, a man named Steve Walker.
Why is he always just like pulling? He's like trying to pull a fast one on all these people that quote unquote did him wrong.
And this is the stupidest thing he could have done.
Yeah.
Is use a real person's name as his alter ego. It proves that it's fake.
But everything he does is the stupidest thing.
So this man named Steve Walker had applied, and he had used this to apply under his name for a copy of Steve Walker's diploma. And he had asked the school to give it to him without the name on it because he told them he had someone like a calligrapher that was going to write in the name because he wanted to display it in his office. So he had obviously written his own name in there. That was the whole point. But they checked into it, and it became clear that Steve Walker was a real person he had scammed, and he was too stupid to come up with an imaginary name to use.
Unreal.
So Salerno was like, he said Walker, you dumbasses. Like, he got caught for that. Like, what?
And it's like, why would you even answer in the first place? No, most imaginary friends do not have a fucking last name.
And why are you using a real, like, there's a million different names you could have chosen.
Right. What the fuck?
And also,
but it's like he can't think fast.
No,
like
he
that.
can't. And it should be noted that multiple personality disorder was removed from the DSM at one point
Oh.
and was replaced with dissociative identity disorder. Just so you
Gotcha.
know. But back then, that's what it was called, and that's what they were.
But those
they
are
were
two
going with.
different things now.
But those are two different things now. The other one, multiple personality disorder, was removed.
Oh.
So the prosecution decides, they're like, okay, so in LA, they're like, we're sending our own doctor up there. We're going
Yeah.
to catch that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So they send Dr. Orn up to Washington to test this diagnosis of multiple personality disorder.
Also, Alaina is beaming.
I love this.
it.
Because
This is always the best part,
just
where you're
gets
like,
fucked.
get got.
I love when they get fucked. Like,
Yeah,
I
no,
love
it's
it.
amazing.
And
I
when
just love your face right now.
I know. I'm like sitting up. I'm like, all right.
Because I don't know what happened, so I'm like, I'm like eager, and Alaina's like, girl,
And I'm like
girl,
excited
girl.
to tell you. I'm like, wait until he fucks up.
She's raising the actual roof right now.
I'm so excited. Fuck Kenny Bianchi. He's still alive. I hope you can't listen, but fuck you in the atmosphere.
Oh my god, what
So,
if they could?
That would be really fucked up and awful.
They do have access to computers sometimes.
But like, fuck you through the atmosphere.
Yeah, fuck off.
So he tested Bianchi with 2 tests. One was the double hallucination test. He put Bianchi under hypnosis, which he knew he was not going under hypnosis. And he asked Bianchi if he saw his attorney, whose name was Dean Brett, sitting next to him. And Dean Brett was not there. He was just asking him to see if he was hallucinating someone. And he was like, if you do see Dean Brett, will you greet him? Like, shake his hand and greet him. So he's like, sure. And he looks over and he's like, oh, Dean! Hey! And he shakes the imaginary person's hand. He's making small talk with him. He's like, oh my God, hey, so cool to see you. Like, full conversation with no one. Now, most people will be like, oh my God, that looks kind of insane.
right.
Well, then the real Dean was told to walk in. And Ken said, hey, how can Dean be in 2 places at once? And he stood and shook the real Dean's hand. He immediately failed. If he was really under hypnosis, he would have never even blinked at the idea of a second Dean walking into it.
Because he wouldn't have noticed
It would
him
have
in the
been,
room.
not even that, it just would have been a continuous hallucination. There's no break in the hallucination. You wouldn't go like, oh, so that Dean's not real? That Dean's real? Like, your mind wouldn't think that way under hypnosis. You would just go, hey, there you are, so let's continue our conversation. Oh. But instead he was like, there's 2 Deans? Like, you wouldn't see 2 Deans.
Oh.
So they
I
were
didn't
like,
know that.
you failed that test. So the
Iconic.
second test, Dr. Orn drew an imaginary circle on the back of Bianchi's hand while under hypnosis. And he told him, you're going to feel pressure or touch anywhere outside of that circle. But inside the circle, there will be nothing. It will be numb. You won't feel it. So he told him, say yes if you feel the touch outside the circle, and say no for inside the circle.
He fell for that because even I'm right here
Well,
knowing.
and here's the thing. Bianchi, however, said yes for outside the circle, but then he's thinking how you're thinking.
Oh, fuck, I got
And
it
he
wrong.
said nothing for the inside because you wouldn't feel it, right?
Right.
That's failing. Because if he was under hypnosis, he would have listened to the orders specifically, and he would have said no for inside the circle. The whole point is you would have listened to the direct orders and followed them perfectly. Oh. You wouldn't have created your own rules.
I've never been under hypnosis.
Me neither. It was like fascinating to me.
That's really interesting.
So obviously this doesn't prove that he doesn't have it. It proved that he is not he's not under hypnosis.
He's, like, lying about being hypnotized.
Which in turn pretty much shows that he's bullshitting. Now Bianchi saw this. He knew it was happening. And he sees that he failed this. Mm-hmm. So he's got to come up with something quick. So he's like, oh, I have another alter ego. His name is Billy. So then okay.
Did he know a Billy? Are we going to find out?
I don't think we found the Billy yet because they just didn't care enough at this point because they
There's
already
what
knew
the
that
fuck
he had
ever.
fucked up. Now, when he first appeared as Steve, he had like taken cigarettes out because like Steve's badass, right? So Steve
Yeah.
smokes cigarettes.
Chief
So
and cigs.
Not only that, but Steve ripped the filters off the cigarette before he smoked them. And when he came back as Ken, he was like, what? Did someone rip the filters off my cigarette? Like, what? Like, he acted very like, oh my God, who did that? And they were like, Steve. And he was like, who's Steve? Like, acted like, what? But so he did that.
Stressed.
And he was like, oh my God, I can never smoke cigarettes without the filters. That's such a Steve thing, obviously. So
Steve vibes.
like such Steve vibes.
Vibe check.
And then when Billy came, and was like, hi, I'm Billy. I'm the third person here. Billy also took cigarettes out of his thing and ripped the filters off because he didn't know that the LAPD had seen the videotapes of when he was Steve doing
So
that.
he was like, I can just
So
trick
he was
these
like, I'll
people
just do
too.
this same thing because it worked the first time.
Because I'm a lazy ass motherfucker and I can't
so
come
they
up
were
with
like-
one more different personality
They were
trait.
literally like, so Steve and Billy just do the exact same thing.
Like, you could have done anything else. You
anything
could have, like,
else.
picked up a pen and, like, chewed the cap.
Exactly.
Like, you fucking idiot.
So they were like, this is a pretty clear indication that he's malingering.
you is
like,
a
it's
liar.
not real. So it all fell apart, like further apart, when it was discovered that he had also, before this, tried to scam a ton of different defenses for himself before the insanity plea. He had tried to use women he had conned and charmed before to be his alibis or promise them money from a forthcoming book that is definitely coming when they find him innocent.
Yikes.
In fact, Angie, the one who he had left the used condom on her doorknob, she wrote a fake alibi for him.
Wow.
And then she broke down and confessed it was fake, like immediately.
She was probably just terrified.
She was, I
Let's
think she was
just hope.
scared and just like really brainwashed. But she confessed it was faked and like felt horrible.
Well, and obviously to convince her that a book is coming, he has to convince her that he is going to be
That's
found
true.
innocent. So if she doesn't help him,
then he's
coming
getting
for her.
out. Yeah. So he also sent his own mother a fake letter. And she said that this letter was written by Karen's boyfriend. And it was Karen's one of the two girls killed in Washington. And it was Karen's boyfriend confessing to the murders.
What?
And he said he asked his mother to bring down that letter to Washington and give it to police to get him out.
Where would she have even found that?
So she did, but she comes down and she confessed that it was fake. Like, she brought it to them and was like, he did this. And then she was
You
like,
need to know.
he's been a liar since the day he was born. Like, she was like,
Mama.
I don't know what to do with this. So he was declared competent to stand trial because no longer was he legally insane. Which I just think is the funniest chain of events that he tried to pull. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Stunts and shows, baby.
Yeah.
Stunts and shows.
And he just failed.
Drew's brother says that all the time.
It's so ridiculous. So he was offered another plea deal. And it was if he admitted to the Washington murders and some of the Hillside Strangling murders at least, and testify against Angelo Buono, he would get life in prison without the possibility of parole, but he would serve in California.
Okay.
Which was good for him because otherwise he was going to Walla
Death
Walla.
penalty.
And that's one of the scariest prisons ever. And he could also get the death penalty. So during interrogation with Salerno, he confirmed the whole thing about the fuzz found on Judith Miller's eyes. How they had that one piece of white fuzz. And he said, yeah, that's likely the upholstering foam that Angelo used. And they were like, oh shit, this has
Now
been
we've
sitting
got Angelo.
unidentified. So that was a huge piece of evidence. And he admitted to stealing Kimberly Martin's necklace because he just liked it. And he even offered up an additional piece of evidence about Christina Weckler. He mentioned a mark on her neck, and they said, like, what mark on her neck? Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, you didn't see? Like, there's a needle mark on her neck. We put the needle in her neck as well.
Oh, fuck.
And neither they or the autopsy
Saw
that. And so then they looked at the autopsy photos, and they were like, you can see it. It's there. Like, we just didn't see it because we weren't looking for it.
Wonder if that guy got in trouble.
I know. I was like, ooh, that's not good.
Kind of a big thing to miss.
But he also revealed the gassing, and he described Angelo's gas pipe and stove in detail.
Wow.
He said, didn't you see the mark on her neck where we pressed the pipe against her? And they were like, well, yeah, but like, what? And they were like, he was like, yeah, it was kind of like a bruise that was shaped like this. And they were like, yep, that's exactly it. So they were like, well, you're really like nailing yourself. Now,
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply.
He said during this interview, and this is like so fucked up, he said, quote, "I tried very hard to get a feel for what was going on, the reasons for everything taking place, basically the motivation or the emotions being felt. I've always felt great anger. I mean, a really intense, horrifying, just cut loose anger. So one was to get me, I don't know, just to get me. Second, there was a sexual arousal with having sex, knowing that the end product is going to be killing itself. Another is, this is terrible, and no disrespect to the girls, no witnesses." He said no disrespect to the girls that he murdered and raped and dumped. No disrespect to the girls, but there were no witnesses. That's why I did it. Like, I didn't want witnesses. But no disrespect to them.
First of all, that doesn't even need to be said right there because you clearly don't respect them. It also just doesn't fit in that statement.
It's just weird.
It's a weird ass thing
no
to say.
disrespect to them, but I had to kill them because I didn't want witnesses. But no disrespect.
What?
I feel like that's pretty disrespectful.
I feel like your entire existence is pretty
disrespectful. Your whole operation is pretty disrespectful, man. Now, Angelo was finally arrested on October 22nd. So Bianchi had been brought into court in front of a judge as Bianchi and not as Steve or Billy, and finally made the statement that Angelo Buono was his accomplice.
And so
they were able to take that along with all the other evidence now.
Jesus.
Now, when they found Angelo's wallet, when they picked him up, he had said, "I don't have a police badge. I've never had one." Remember, he said, I have handcuffs, but it's for other things.
But I've never had that.
When they found his wallet, there was a place in it where nothing was there, but there was a perfect outline of a badge and pinholes where it had clearly been stuck.
You motherfucking dumbass.
And it was literally the perfect piece of evidence because he denied it. Yeah. Why would he deny it?
Right.
Now, he confessed, too, while he was in jail to another prisoner while waiting trial, but then he denied it later.
Yeah.
But the language he used was specific to Angelo's way of speaking, because he had, very specific things he would say all the time.
Oh.
And this guy was he literally said this, and it's
they were
exactly
that
what he would have
sounds
said.
about right.
Now, June 1980, Ken gets a letter, because he's waiting in jail, waiting to testify against Angelo. His picture's been everywhere. This has been all over the news. So he's getting letters, of course, from these idiots who are like, "Oh my God, I love you."
Ew.
No.
I will never fucking understand that.
And he gets a letter from 24-year-old Veronica Compton, who is a writer. Now, you can't see me, but my fingers are doing air bunnies over writer. She wrote Ken this, quote, "Ken, you don't know me, but I would like to visit you. My name is Verlyn." That's her pen name. Verlyn is her pen name.
Her middle name is definitely Lynn, isn't it?
"I am a playwright, and I am currently writing a fictional play entitled The Mutilated Cutter. The story is about a female mass murderer, Veronica Lynn Compton." And she also asked if he would help her make the character more believable. She wanted to pick his brain. She was also an aspiring actress and a kook. And she had dark hair. She was like beautiful, like very pretty. And according to Darcy O'Brien's book, she said, quote, the heroine, and this is a quote from his book, the heroine she planned to play for herself would strangle a female victim and then traumatize the corpse's vagina with a specifically designed hollow dildo through which semen previously collected for the purpose would be put, thereby foiling and thwarting the male-dominated oppressive forces of society and law. That was what her play was.
That sounds like it'll be a great play. But many people will definitely come out for that.
For sure.
Go fuck yourself.
So they began writing each other, and it was like immediately, it was like very sexually charged and like very intense. And she was falling in love with him. And he was just like, how can I use you?
Yeah.
Eventually they had all these visits and they would get weird. And one of the messages that she sent him, I just have to read to you because it's so wild. She sent a letter to him and it said, my dearest, what a wonderful sex-filled night I had. It was so exciting. And the man was so mysterious. Took a long hot bath at my house and he looked so tempting as the steam rolled off his body. You will never guess who it is. All night he stayed here with me. I can't tell you how magnificent it was. It was simply outrageous. You know him well. In fact, you know him very, very well. Do you want to guess? Forget it. You can't in 1,000 years. You know why? I will tell you. Because my lover was here in spirit, not in body. It was a dream, my precious, a dream about you. Do you realize it's only 51 and a half hours until we see each other? Did I excite you with the curiosity in the beginning of the letter? Veronica.
I have to go. There's other places I need to be. So
there's every other place I have to be.
I actually have an Uber awaiting me outside for anything else.
They had many visits, and they also realized that they shared a love for necrophilia.
Awesome.
So that's fun. So he was like, how can I use this crazy person? And by the way, I am doing a full-ass other episode about Veronica Compton and the other serial killer that she attached herself to. Because one, that other serial killer is wild, and I've never heard of him.
Okay.
And two, her story with this stuff is just so insane. It needs another.
Can we do that
thing.
next? Can this?
We need to, I feel.
Okay, awesome.
So she told him she wanted to murder someone. She was like, I want to murder a woman. Like, let me do that for you. And she told him, great. She was like, you know what? Like, let's make this work for me.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, why don't you go to Bellingham, Washington and kill a woman and then leave semen in that woman to free him so that they would think that the wrong guy was in jail. Like, kill her in a way that will look like the Hillside Strangler.
Also,
and then leave semen so they're like, whoa.
You already confessed to everything and said Angelo did it and they have a bunch of evidence.
Oh yeah, but he just pulls that back all the time. He'll just be like, oh no. Nope, don't remember that at all, actually. Thank you.
Okay.
It doesn't work out for him well in the end, though.
Yeah.
So, because remember, his plea deal is based on if he admits to all this and also if he truthfully testifies against Angelo Buono, which he fails at.
Oh.
So they also worked out alibis with her for each of the Hillside Strangler days. So that so he was going to be with her for all those days. So Angelo would have to take the fall for all of them. So he knew that he and Angelo, which is strange, they were both non-secretors, which we've been over before. Yeah, he knew that because I think they had been tested somehow.
Okay.
And I don't know if it had come off in I'm sure it was probably leaked at some point in the media maybe.
Yeah.
So what he did was he masturbated into the finger of a rubber glove, sealed the top with gum, and tied it with a string that he got from a rosary, which he stripped the beads off of.
Wow, what an ass.
Yeah. He then shoved it into a poetry book and gave it to her on a visit. So next time she was going to find a young girl that fit the bill of the Hillside Strangler victims, she could insert that semen into this girl, it would come out as non-secretor semen, which is only 20% of the population.
Yup.
And is the Hillside Strangler, happens to be both of them.
Isn't that crazy? Only 20% of the population, and it's the two of these fuckers?
Exactly. And so he's like, do that, put the semen in the scene, and then leave her in a car exactly like Karen and Diane. Boom. They're going to think they have the wrong guy, which he's stupid to even think this would work. But
was the Golden State Killer a non-secretor?
I think he was, actually.
I think he was, yeah. That's interesting. California,
I know,
huh?
that's weird. So September 16th, 1980, at the Coconut Grove Bar in Bellingham, Veronica went in with a blonde wig, she was brunette, and a fake pregnant belly because she figured it would be less threatening and it would make people trust her. So she was hopped up on cocaine as well. Oh. And she met a woman and they went back to the motel, which was the Shangri-La Motel. Now, she got this woman back to the motel because she had said she was pregnant and abandoned. Like, she was like crying and like this woman was like, I feel so bad. Like,
so she preyed on somebody's kindness.
Yeah, so she was like, you know what, I'll absolutely come and like just chat with you and like make you feel better.
Aww.
Well, she went to the bathroom and then she snuck up behind her and tried to strangle her with a cord. Mm-hmm. Well, this girl fought back and ran the fuck out of there. Like, got out.
Yeah.
So that's no good for her. Now, the woman went right to police. And meanwhile, Veronica had called the police herself, pretending to be the real strangler, like using a voice and shit, and being like, ha ha ha, you have the wrong man. Like,
shut the actual fuck up.
Yes. And they knew she had visited him all the time, so she was pretty easy to suspect.
Oh,
like,
girl,
they knew it was her.
The cocaine will get you every time,
and she was
honey.
arrested. And Bianchi dropped her like a hot potato because she was no longer useful to him. And again, I'm covering her next because we got to get into like the real with her, but I don't have time for that right now. Because
nobody got time for
We got to
that.
focus on Bianchi and Buono here, but like, we're going there.
Next episode, because I need it now.
So Bianchi decided to change his story again because this is what he's doing, because that didn't work. So
I love that he also thinks this is going to make him remain credible.
Oh yeah, you can just keep changing it
It's
up.
like, sir.
And now he's blaming Angelo for everything. He doesn't remember one damn thing he did.
That's not okay. You're family.
Yeah.
You're familia.
You're familia. So Angelo's trial was bonkers. It was throughout 1982. There were trips to the dump sites. They took and multiple witnesses that were supposed to help the defense, but actually made it worse for them, which is funny. Sabra Hannon was brought back and she was psyched to send them to prison. Like, she was like, fuck yeah, I'll
talk
get up
about
there.
fucking
She couldn't
revenge.
wait. She was working as a dental hygienist at the time. She was married and living in Phoenix, which I was like, get it, Sabra.
She's also beautiful.
Oh, she's
I saw
stunning.
a photo of her and I was like,
Stunning.
Wow.
Becky Spears she came on the stands as well. She was very affected and was clearly still suffering from the ordeal that she had been through, but she testified. And also, a woman named Cheryl Burke also testified because she happened to be in the Hollywood Public Library the evening that Kimberly Martin was killed.
Whoa.
While Kenny was on the phone trying to arrange the meeting, Angelo had gone into the library while he was on the phone and was intentionally stalking and leering at this woman in the stacks for fun. Oh. And he scared her so much that she remembered him like perfectly.
Wow.
And the woman was Cheryl Burke, and she was able to identify him, and she was like, he's a predator. Like, that was predatory what he did to me that night.
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't even want to go back to the library after it. Oh. So he thought he was having fun.
How do you make the library unsafe
and
for someone?
And it fucked over himself. Catherine Laurie also testified about her near encounter with them, the Peter Laurie's daughter.
Yep.
Also, for Angelo's birthday in October, this is wild. He had a defense attorney that was a woman, and they did that to appeal to the jury.
Of course.
Like, look, there's a woman defending him.
I could have never lie.
Her name was Catherine Mader, and she was like real fucked in my opinion. She was like way too attached. Like, she like seemed like she was like charmed by him.
Okay.
So
what
for
did
his
she do
birthday,
for his birthday?
She wanted to have a birthday cake delivered to him. She had it delivered to him the first year he was in prison. And the second time they were like, no. And they were like, how do I know you're not going to put like a shiv in there?
Right.
Like, you can't just like send him a fucking like, what?
No.
And her response was something along the lines of like, aw, he's going to have to celebrate his birthday without a cake. That's a shame. And I guess someone nearby was like, well, look at it this way. 10 women have to, like, will never celebrate their birthdays
Ever
again.
again.
Like, does that make you
Like,
feel
at
better?
least he can get fucking Twinkies from the commissary.
Does that help you sleep at night?
Suck my dick, lady.
Lady? Like, are you fucking kidding me? We're supposed to feel bad for this guy? Like, what? After Sabra Hannon and Becky Spears got up there and said what he did to them?
And she's like, he needs cake.
He doesn't get cake, though.
Meh.
Like, fuck right off.
I hope you never get cake again either.
Right? In her closing argument, she said she started it with, there is a core of goodness in Mr. Buono.
Is there?
And she said, yeah, a core of humanity. So during certain arguments also that, like, the other side was making, she would laugh out loud. She would make gestures. And at one point, she was filing and clipping her nails while they were talking.
Stop.
Until the judge had to, like, yell at her.
I was
going to
say, did the judge say something?
Several times. She was almost kicked off for her behavior.
I wish she was.
And at the time, this trial was the longest in American history at the time. It took 2 full years. The jury took 9 days deliberating, and finally on October 31st, 1983, they came to the conclusion that Angelo Buono was guilty of all 9, not 10, counts of murder. He was not proven guilty on Yolanda Washington's murder, the first one. They didn't have enough time to it.
Oh.
They tried to have them go back and deliberate again. They just couldn't.
Wouldn't you
agree
think
to
that
it.
circumstantially, like,
You
if
would
he's
think
convicted
so.
of 9 other murders, he probably did that other
But
first one?
he got all 9. He was given life without parole in Calipatria State Prison, which is in California.
I think it's also really shitty for her family that they didn't do that.
Yeah, well, that's what they were trying to do, because they were like, come on, like, she deserves that.
Yeah.
But so the judge, Ronald George, I love what he had to say, because he was given life without the possibility of parole, not the death penalty, obviously. Mm-hmm. And what he said was, the ultimate justification for any punishment is that it is emphatic denunciation by the community of a crime. And there are some murders which demand the most emphatic denunciation of all, namely the death penalty. In view of the jury's mercy in this verdict, I am, of course, without authority to impose any greater punishment. However, I would not have the slightest reluctance to impose the death penalty in this case were it within my power to do so. If ever there was a case where the death penalty is appropriate, this is that case. Angelo Buono and Kenneth Bianchi slowly squeezed out of their victims their last breath of air and their promise of a future life. And all for what? The momentary sadistic thrill of enjoying a brief, perverted sexual satisfaction and the venting of their hatred for women? And ironically, although these 2 defendants utilized almost every form of legalized execution against their victims, the defendants have escaped any form of capital punishment. Angelo Buono and Kenneth Bianchi subjected various of their murder victims to the administration of lethal gas, electrocution, strangulation by rope, and lethal hypodermic injection. Yet the 2 defendants are destined to spend their lives in prison, housed, fed, and clothed at taxpayer expense, better cared for than some of the destitute, law-abiding members of our community.
Yeah, go off.
Which, like, whoa. And when he puts it
Shots
like that,
fired.
when he says, ironically, they used administration of lethal gas, electrocution, strangulation by rope, and hypodermic injection, all forms of capital punishment.
Yeah.
But they are not receiving it themselves.
Yeah, that's wild.
Again, my death penalty stance is like a blurry area.
Yeah, me too.
I don't lean, and I lean, honestly, recently, I think by doing this podcast, weirdly, and the research I've done, I lean more towards against. Mm-hmm. But that is a brilliant argument.
It is.
It's a brilliant argument. It really is.
Perfectly in the middle every
I do
single
lean.
time.
I'm still in the gray area, but I'm starting to tilt.
Because there are cases where...
Exactly. That's why I'm like...
It's a whole nother show.
It is. That's a whole nother show. But it is funny that, like, by doing this podcast, my
you
stance
go back and forth.
Seems to have evolved, which is fun. I guess that's a good thing that, like, I'm...
Well, it's because you're educating yourself on the subject matter.
I hope that more people will, like, think it through, you know, like, regardless of what side you stand on.
Right.
So he said at the end of this, I am sure, Mr. Buono and Mr. Bianchi, that you will probably only get your thrills reliving over and over again the torturing and murdering of your victims, being incapable, as I believe you to be, of ever feeling any remorse. So he was just like, fuck off. Now, after this, Sabra Hannon especially called and thanked police and lawyers who made this all possible. Like, she was like, I can't thank you enough. She said, I can finally move on with my life and like live because he's gone. Like, he'll be in prison. That's all I wanted.
because she probably looked over her shoulder for so long.
Exactly. Angelo Buono died of a heart attack in prison after only serving 19 years. Apparently, he never left his cell the first year, because not even to take a walk, because he was so scared of being killed or beaten by inmates.
Wow.
And he was not a favorite.
They should have made him take a walk.
I know, they should have forced him to walk. But October 21st, 1983, Kenny, who again had been told that if he pled and testified truthfully against his cousin, that he would spend his time in California, and specifically not in Walla Walla in Washington because brutal. He was sent directly to Walla Walla for life without parole. He was like, because he did not abide by his plea deal.
Washington will haunt him forever.
Because he went on that stand and he did everything he could do to fuck with that, with his confession, with the narrative. He lied. He turned things around. He would give contradictory statements. He fucked around.
Yeah, you don't get your plea deal.
Fuck around.
A deal is
see.
a deal.
And he saw. There
Fuck
it
around
is.
and see.
Yeah. So he was sent to Washington. And he was also sentenced to life in California for the Strangler murder, but he is spending it in Washington.
Good. I love that.
He's still there. He tried to legally change his name to Anthony D'Amato and then Nicholas Fontana.
Why though?
Because he knew that, because he's probably getting his ass kicked all the time because he's a fucking, like, he killed and raped children.
But it's like,
and women.
Do you not realize that like everybody
Well,
will
he
still
thinks
know who you
newer
are?
people will come in and they won't know. Like
the older people won't be like, that's who that is.
Yeah, like he's also just
an
dumb.
idiot.
Like
he got married too, huh?
Yep. So in 1986, he married Christine Kazuka, I believe it is. Or no, excuse me, that's Buono. In 1986, Angelo married again. He married Christine Kazuka. But in 1989, Bianchi married Shirley Book, which was a pen pal. Mm-hmm. She also was she was like involved with Ted Bundy when he was behind bars at one point. So that's just like her thing.
Yeah, everybody's got their thing.
He tried to get conjugal visits for them in 1990, but he was denied.
You think that as like... okay.
Yeah. He was, yeah, exactly. He was also denied
I'm not even
parole.
Gonna try to get it.
He was also denied parole on August 18th, 2010. He is going to be eligible to at least apply for parole in 2025. He not getting it. But it'll be funny.
One of the Hillside Stranglers,
you will
my
not
dude.
do that. Interesting little thing just to end on. In 2007, Angelo's grandson, Christopher Buono, shot his grandmother in the head, who was Angelo's second wife, Mary Castillo.
Whoa.
She lived, but he killed himself afterwards.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
And again, we don't know if Kenny's the alphabet killer, and I think he might be. So
yeah, I want to get into that.
There was a palm print on one of the victims' necks that they were never able to identify, and it came back inconclusive as Kenny's. So
whoa,
that's still there. Who knows? And that is even the abridged version of the Hillside Stranglers.
The 4-part abridged version.
That is me, like, whittling it down to 30 pages.
That's insane.
That was a lot. But I really, really, really encourage you to read those books. The one, Killing Cousins, and The Hillside Stranglers. So by Darcy O'Brien. I'm going to link them again. I've linked them in everyone. But go read them. They're fascinating. They have so many more transcripts. They have so much more insight into like the behind the scenes stuff and all the psychiatrist stuff. More of the trial stuff. Oh, there's tons of Steve stuff. Go read them because it's definitely worth it for this case because it is a wild one.
It really was. I had no idea how many ins and outs there were in this case.
I didn't either.
I did not.
I had no idea.
I do now. So
you do now.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm really glad that we're going somewhere haunted this next week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we need to take a haunted detour. But I'll take you right back with Veronica Compton.
I was going to say, I need that next. We need it.
I was going to say, I won't let you rest for a minute.
I need it.
I'll bring it in.
Well, if you'd like to keep listening, you'll get that. So we hope you keep listening. And we hope you
keep
it weird. But not so weird that you randomly traded to Steven and you started smoking unfiltered cigarettes, and then, you know, Billy does the same thing, because really you could just come up with another personality trait, and just don't be as weird as Kenneth, Bianchi, or Angelo, Buono, or any of like the defense attorneys, or any of those people. The lady that wanted to send him a cake, I mean. Don't be that.
Yeah, don't be that. Sit there and file your nails. I'm like, come on.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know that feeling when you come home late from work and those puppy dog eyes just pierce right through your soul? Or when you're packing for a trip and your cat refuses to leave your suitcase? Yeah, we've all been there. Pet parent guilt is real. And you know what? It's completely normal. That's exactly why Hill's Pet Nutrition exists. They understand that being a pet parent means being human, with all of our imperfections and daily juggling acts. Hill's science-led nutrition helps you give more love than humanly possible. Whether it's those long work days or trying to balance attention between multiple pets, Hill's Pet Nutrition gets it. They've created science-based nutrition that supports your pet's lifelong health, so you can feel confident even when life gets hectic. Because you're only human, there's Hill's. Science does more. Ready to let go of the guilt? Find the right food at hillspet.com/podcast. That's hillspet.com/podcast.
Girl, let's get real. Some pads are just diapers with a good PR team, but not the new Kotex BioCare. That's because Kotex BioCare helps defend against odor and irritants. And it's the first and only pad with this pH proactive system that helps optimize the pad's pH. Just think of it as self-care for down there. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the all-new Kotex, completely redesigned to meet your needs. You asked, we heard.